Hey y'all, happy Thursday.
What's going on?
What's
Yeah,
up? What's up?
I was like, hold on, I hear no voices. It was okay. I'm doing good, y'all. Y'all know it's always a vibe every time we get together and talk. And honestly, this is like my peace in the middle of the week when we get together and talk. So I'm excited to talk to y'all. But first and foremost, y'all, I know y'all have been missing Jay Lee. Welcome back. You see, we got our red lips on for you.
Oh, everybody, I see it, girl.
We did it for you.
Thank you. I'm happy to be back. Y'all know I missed y'all. It's been weird, being gone. I'm like, no.
Right, you
We glad you back
and everything.
I'm back.
Fact.
I want some of Bondy's kind of candy though.
Girl, I've been fiending for it for days.
Where you get cotton candy from? Do they sell it at the grocery store?
Yes, it's about to be Mardi Gras, so they start selling it at the grocery store.
Yeah, gotcha.
It's a quiet snack.
My show snack that I like to eat during the show, dang, I only had a box. Aldi, that's my favorite store. They have these dark chocolate coconut almonds.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, they hit. They are so good. I finished the whole thing like just right now.
I love me some dark chocolate cocoa almonds now.
Mm-hmm.
All kind of variations, except for the Himalayan sea salt version. Don't do that.
I like those.
I like those.
All right. So
in the crack.
Oh, look,
the crack. The snacks. The crack. These are the crack right here that I had to get sent in from Amazon because I couldn't find them in none of the stores. It's that serious.
Okay. What is that? Salt,
this
vinegar,
is the
barbecue, onion, garlic, and more.
It's crack.
That's a lot.
My blood pressure should be through the roof. Sound good though.
Yeah, don't eat that. Don't eat that. Please don't eat that.
All right, y'all, before we get started, y'all make sure y'all are following us all over social media. We actually just created a Twitter page at OohLadiesFirst, Instagram at OohLadiesFirst, and you know where to find each of us for the show. So, speaking of, I hope y'all got to see our pre-show. We interviewed Cree from Growing Up Hip Hop. Many times she called herself #Cree the villain. So I wanted to just get a little chit chat. Of course, we saw the live comments about what y'all thought about the interview. It seemed like the viewers were very opinionated. But ladies, what did y'all think about the interview? Was there any moments that stuck out to you?
I feel bad because I was asleep. I took a nap and I was going to watch it, but I fell asleep. So I seen a little bit of it because I haven't really watched Growing Up Hip Hop. However, I know it was some kind of fight and stuff. And it's a queer tree girl and Cree. That's what I know. However, it was still amazing. That's what matters. But I took a nap. I'm sorry.
I thought it went well for the most part. I mean, I feel like she gave us behind the scenes information. That's what I really wanted to know about, to give more answers as to why she reacted the way that she did. The colorism thing still doesn't hit for me. But for the most part, I thought it was good. I hope the viewers, y'all let us know. Y'all go over there and check it out and let us know what y'all thought about it as well.
Shy, y'all be upset when we don't go in on people. And I almost feel like, oh my God, do we not understand diplomacy? You want to get the interview, don't you? You want people to talk to us, don't you? You know what I'm saying? Calm down. But I'm gonna say I did feel like there was some behind the scenes shit going on. So when she told us about Sequoia's mom and them running up, that made me feel like, okay, so now it kind of the energy of what was going on made more sense now. However, I didn't like the, Savannah's been through so much. If Savannah is not going to be open enough to be, vulnerable herself with us, then we don't need to hear about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you acted a fool. You acted like a child. You an adult. Work on that. Okay. Your issues is not our issues. And as far as, I asked about the colorism because I felt like, no, that don't line up for me. What else, y'all? What else was there that we felt like it might have been like, twinge of bullshit? I don't know. I feel like we were calling her out. I feel like she handled it well.
She did. Y'all, especially when the only part that stuck out to me where we especially held her accountable was Bondy, you asking the question on the colorism thing. Because I remember when I watched the episode, my face kind of went, I don't know if that was that. And then Jami, you spoke and you were like, I understand where you were coming from. But so I was like, okay, cool. The other thing that stuck out to me that made me just kind of go, I don't know, was I do believe it's possible that Sequoia said to her, if you can even have kids. But it was just shocking to me that Cree was so apologetic about putting hands on her. Whereas for me, if somebody would have said that to me, I would have been like, well, I don't feel bad about it. I'd hit her again. So I was just like, okay. So yeah, that was interesting. But overall, I think it was a pretty good interview. I don't think everybody was gonna be happy about it, regardless. But I think we got to find out some real good information.
I think so too. I think there was a lot of behind the scenes tea that was given. So y'all can feel however y'all want to feel, but we found out some things we ain't know. But I still feel like she could not tell Sequoia not to be upset about whatever Savannah was running her mouth off about. She was like, it wasn't really that big of it. I said, no, yes, it was. Like, don't tell me to go and take care of my child. Like, that insinuates that I'm not taking care of my child. Everybody knows that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't finna argue with nobody about it, but I didn't like that because I felt like, no, she was being disrespectful and it was uncalled for. And y'all were cackling and acting like, y'all wanted beefage instead of being grown women. So defending your friend and all of that, child, I guess,
Jami, you muted.
Oh, sorry guys. I was thinking the same thing. Like, defending your friend, like I guess, but at the same time, or at the end of the day, at the end of the interview, you realize that when it comes down to how she acts, you're not gonna be defending her no more. So Slick was kind of like, well, why are you defending her a little bit right now? Because I don't really care about what she's been through. I feel like everybody has their share of things that they have been through, you know what I'm saying? So it doesn't give her a right to feel like she could just talk to people any kind of way. And it wasn't just Sequoia, even though she was more aggressive with Sequoia, it was also how she was talking to Boogie when he was on the show. So she has this thing about her where she feels like she could talk to people any kind of way, and somebody not gonna care about what you've been through.
Yeah, no. But everything, she hit the nail on the head whenever she said that Sequoia reminded her of her younger self. Because when I watched the show, Savannah, thank you. When I watched the show, I was like, Savannah just seems like, the little sister syndrome, the youngest child syndrome, acting as you mad because of something and your parent ain't gonna correct you because your dad is Stevie J. But I mean, I got those vibes. Overall, I think she answered the questions and let us know what needed to be said.
Oh, and
now if y'all want to send Sequoia around here, tell her to come on.
Yeah, tell her come on through because we love her daddy and her uncle. But I just want to say another thing about the Tanise situation. Everybody could have known Tanise was pregnant. Tanise needed to know she was pregnant.
That's a good point.
That's how I feel.
All right. Well, I think we can move on from the interview. If y'all haven't got a chance to check that out, go ahead and do that, okay? It's on my channel. Now, let's get into... All right, dang. We always say this, but I was like just getting into the music for real. So, y'all, I love talking about Ladies Who List. This show definitely took me by surprise. I felt like it was a show where I'd be like, oh, yeah, they'll come on after Ready to Love or before Ready to Love, and I'm just going to leave it at that. But it's actually been pretty good, and I can see, like, the casting, in my opinion, is good. Each of the ladies brings something to the show, and I can actually see this lasting for at least a couple seasons. So this week, y'all, we are obviously building upon the mess that went down between Robin and Crystal. Crystal definitely overused the word triggered multiple times. Robin slapped Crystal's hand. And we see Tiana and Tiffany take the side of Robin. They defend her because Tiffany has also experienced some mental health issues, and they feel like she should have been given a little bit of grace. Next, we see Crystal speaking to her therapist, crying, saying that, she definitely feels like some boundaries have been crossed. And in my opinion, I feel like Crystal is only crying because you're embarrassed. You crying because you didn't think that anybody was going to hold you accountable for being a trash ass friend. You didn't think anybody was going to hold you accountable for throwing more gas on the fire. You thought everybody was going to be on this, oh, let's be mean to Robin train. You didn't think that the other women were capable of giving grace. So I think that's why Crystal is turning this into a boundary issue. And then finally, in the last scene, we see Q and Robin talking finally about the money situation. They didn't go into very deep detail about the dollar amount like I wanted them to. But they talk a little bit back and forth about what an appropriate apology is. And with Q is weird because I feel like she is more angry than what she leads on. She pretends like she's just a little bit angry, but she knows that she has the influence to have the other girls keep the beef going with Robin. When I say the other girls, I'm specifically talking about Kira and Crystal. So what were y'all's thoughts on the main topics or just the show in general for Ladies Who List?
I like Robin. And when I watched the Triggered episode, I felt like everyone was ganging up on her, like one by one, whatever the issue was. And I didn't like that. I think her bringing them all together saying, hey, I have this idea. Let's try to do this. And then one by one, they kind of just tore her down. I'm looking like, how you mad about her not following you on Instagram? And then you mad about the business about a year ago? I felt like they were holding on to stuff and waiting to pounce on her. And when Robin said the friend, is it Kiana? Who was her friend? Who didn't come to her defense and say, hey, let's not do this here. Crystal. Yeah, I felt like, why not at least say, hey, let's table all of this because that's not why we're here. If you mad about that and you mad about that, that's separate discussions. I'm like, she kept piling on. I'm like, I wanted to punch in the throat because I was confused as to why no one felt the need to say, let's keep going at Robin, but for no reason. I was so confused why all of them was sitting like 2 or 3, kept going at her, and no one thought it was stupid. And I felt like Robin had the right to get defensive. She had the right to go back because y'all all coming at me. So fuck y'all. So fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, and who's next?
Gotcha.
Who's next?
Right. Crystal definitely irked me. I don't even understand why she's friends with Robin. She doesn't like her. I did not like the therapy sit down, especially when she said that she was trying to help Robin or something. She told the lady in therapy. And I was like, girl, you know you weren't. Why'd you over here retelling the story to your therapist to fit whatever narrative you want to fit because you don't really want to hear her tell you the truth about yourself? And then the therapist bothered me a little bit, and maybe they cropped it out. I don't know. It was like you can't see through that. If she been coming to you, you've been listening to her stories. Obviously, Robin is a reoccurring theme. Like you couldn't probe through that to see that your client was full of SHI.
Well, she claimed Robin wasn't a reoccurring thing, which is what I thought was weird. Because do you remember when she sat down with the therapist? She says, well, you've heard me talk about Robin. And the therapist was like, no. And she was like, well, that's one of my best friends, but you haven't because she hasn't been an issue.
Oh, I missed that. I don't know how I overlooked that. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, that made me feel like they weren't really friends. Crystal was friends with her through convenience. Because if y'all was truly best friends, the therapist would have been like, yeah, I know who she is.
Knowingly. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So I'm not a fan of her. Kira, why you took your shoes off? What was that about? You showed just how much of a child that you are. I didn't like it. Really like Tiana for standing up and being like, I'm not going to be a part of this. Like, and calling Krista out and letting her know that she was wrong because nobody else was doing it. But my main issue with like Kiana and that sit down, we didn't even get into like, it was weird because we didn't talk about the actual situation. It was like we talking about the situation, but we're not talking about the situation.
Well,
Like
they're gonna
us
talk
as
about it next
viewers,
week, right? I mean, they're gonna talk about it tomorrow, right? Yeah, it was
because
cut
I don't know
up.
what's
So I
going
think the
on.
first part of the conversation was the part we got. But when we come back tomorrow, I believe that they're gonna pick up that conversation with the actual right and explain to us about this number situation.
Okay.
But I feel like if they all in the same game, and when I heard, I felt like her saying, I wanted her to help me. You know, I want her to take up my case, was a case or whatever, and $500 per thing. But I feel like that's business. And you can't fault someone when you're saying, hey, I need your help. At the end of the day, she's still a businesswoman. So that should have been a conversation. And if you didn't like the amount she charged you, have that conversation. But don't be upset because she said, you want my help? Well, I need you to pay me for my time and for me to hold your stuff. Like, why would you, unless you're saying, hey, I need you to do this for free. I can't afford to pay you. Have that conversation, but you can't be upset because someone came to you business-wise and said, okay, this is how much it costs for me to hold your stuff for 30 or whatever, how many days it was, $500 per thing. If you can't afford that, then go to somebody else. But you can't be upset at the business aspect of what she was doing. To me, that's childish. You wanted someone to be your friend, not a business partner.
And that I knew you was gonna understand the business part, Jay Lee. I knew you was going to. So that's that Capricorn in you. But that's the thing. I wanted to know if she was upset, not because she was charging, but if the amount she was charging felt like she was taking advantage of her. I guess that's what we're gonna find out next week.
I don't think 500 is a lot, because when you think about realty and these homes and the money they make and selling whatever, 500 to me is probably the lowest amount. So how am I upset that you charge me the lowest amount because you at least know me? She could charge her way more than that, because I feel like she know that, and it's like I think she probably felt like because we're cool, it should have been for free, and any amount over free made me feel like you were trying to make money off of me. Well, you trying to use me to hold your stuff. Should I be upset with you trying to use me to? I guess I could have been holding other people's stuff who can pay me, who can make me money. You trying to cost me money. At the end of the day, you came to me because business-wise, you needed something from me for your business. And we have to know how to separate friendship shit and business shit when we're trying to make money. And if you need me to hold her stuff, okay, cool. You know as the realtor, she knows the realtor how much stuff costs because she's in the business. So you can't be pissed that she's like, okay, well, I need, a couple dollars, little $500, you know what I'm saying? And that's what it is. And if you can't afford that, cool, but don't be mad because I didn't give you a freebie, because you didn't ask for a freebie.
Apparently she called another friend. So it's kind of like, if you were able to get it done, why are you acting like she prohibited you from doing what you needed to do for your own business if you were able to call somebody else and get it done? To me, it seems like you just wanted to have an issue with her. And the way she talked about her was so different. Oh, she's so cool, and we hung out before, and we were, really, we hung out, we were, she didn't say we were really good friends, but she was like, we were really cool, and I felt like she was a good person. Like, she was just saying a lot of nice things about Robin, all for her to totally ignore. And this is what I felt like when they were having that conversation and Robin was explaining what place she was in. It was almost like, no, this is supposed to be about you kissing my ass, not about you explaining the place you were in and why you reacted the way you did. Because if you really wanted to understand, she was trying to give you the understanding, but you wanted her to kiss your ass. And certain people are just not going to kiss your ass because they feel like they're just as bad as you are. You're not the only bad bitch in the room. I don't know why you felt like somebody was supposed to kiss your feet about that situation, especially when you didn't communicate that to her. And, because she, like you said, she acted like she wasn't as upset about it. But then you turn around and tell us that you've been holding on to something for a year that you could have called this lady and told her about a while ago. So it does seem like you was holding on to it. You know what I'm saying? But
and that's why it irked me so much that she was getting a kick out of Kira and Crystal antagonizing Robin, because at the same time I'm like, Q, just say what you feel. So I feel like she moves real sneaky, similar to Crystal, and Kira is just too immature to really move as sly as they are. She taking her shoes off and everything else, and I'm just like,
she was doing way too much. When she did that little, I'm going to say something, I'm going to turn my back to you. So, you're getting the back of my head. It was like, girl, what the do you think you're doing right now? Were we in high school?
Is Crystal the one who kept saying she triggered? Is that Crystal?
Yes. You're triggered, Rob. You're triggered.
And you realize when she had to recount the story to her therapist and she said Robin hit her, her therapist said, well, what did you say to her? She said, well, I said, Rob, I think you're triggered. No, you didn't. You didn't say it like that. You
said it like 8 times.
Yes, you let everybody know she was triggered. What also bothered me was the episode before that. I feel like Crystal likes to feel like she has some sort of authority over Robin acting a fool or not, because she was saying to her sister, I've never been able to calm her down by, not just my words or something like that. I've never been able to not calm her down.
I've never been able to get her to listen to me.
Right.
Like before, she's been listening to me before, but now she's not hearing my voice. Like, girl, you don't get the fuck out of here.
Right.
Like she can't control her no more.
Right.
Let me handle Robin how I know how to handle Robin. I'm a grown woman. You shouldn't have to. And Robin saying, mentally I was going through whatever, and so these are my issues, and you're triggered. I'm like, why are you saying she triggered? It was so, well, she was triggering her. It was very much so she was trying to poke the bear to make her react, so then she could then say, see, let me control you, see, let me calm you, like let me trigger you, so then I can then be the focus of trying to control you.
Yes.
And I'm like, I don't trust her.
So now that we are, how many episodes in, I've been trying to draw this conclusion. So I want to ask y'all to go ahead and assign y'all's teams. Who are y'all favorite on the show and least favorite based on what we've seen so far?
Kara is my least favorite.
Which one is that?
Kara is my
taking
least
my
favorite.
shoes off.
That's
okay.
Her.
Is that the young one?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I don't like her.
And I'm gonna say I think I like Robin the most. I think I can say that.
I like that Robin was saying that she, like, who she was when she came there, who she had to be, what she had to go through. You can't make me feel like I'm not who I am because I went through whatever. So I like the fact that it seemed like she has a story, and she's not trying to allow anybody to come in and make her feel some kind of way now that she's on her own path to like a higher, calling or whatever. So I do like Robin. I do not like your trigger. I don't like her.
Crystal.
Yes, I don't like Crystal. And I liked the girl who Robin was talking to at the end, I think her name was Tiffany.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
That's Tiffany. Yeah.
I like Tiffany because she seemed, I like that she seemed level-headed, and she got Robin when Robin was pissed, but she also got the reason Robin was pissed, and it wasn't like I like that she got, we should not have allowed people to keep fucking with her, and she got that people was fucking with her. So I like that she saw what was going on and wasn't like feeding into it, where I think everybody else was kind of feeding into it one way or the other. So those are my two that I like.
Gotcha. Yeah, on the high end for me it's gonna be Robin and Tiana. And on the low end, it's going to be Crystal.
That's it. Just Crystal.
Crystal, yeah.
Right. Crystal is the one for me. Crystal triggered me so much to make my own story time video about my friends.
Right.
From episode 1. Crystal for me was not it, because she reminded me of somebody I knew. Okay. Exactly. And she continues to move that way. My favorite, I would have to say, probably right now it's gonna be between Tiana and Tiffany, but I'm gonna just say Tiana because she killed me when she was tiptoeing around them hills and she said, "You think I'm gonna stay in this environment?"
Right.
Like,
I said, yes, girl, get on out of there, honey. And she looks so cute in her romper or jumper or whatnot. I was like, you better go on.
Right. All right, y'all. So let's move on to talk about Ready to Love. Y'all, this is a show that is never ending, but I ain't mad at it, okay? Because I'm going to be on Sunday Brunch talking about it. I'm going to be talking about the premiere tomorrow, but let's talk about part 2 reunion from last week. Mm-hmm. Honestly, in my opinion, I feel like, Jaylee, what was that? You said,
You know, my weird leg back and dump.
Oh, I thought you said about the show. But in my opinion, I feel like they should have flipped part 2 and part 1. Part 1 was all the dramatics. Part 2 was all of the MF and clownery, in my opinion.
Right.
So this episode, Cassia finally got the attention that she was crying about, even though her mama down to the hospital sick. Which I hope her mama feels better. But you wasn't here for it when they was talking about other people drama. But as soon as you got your segment, you sat up there and tried to get some clout off of Corey lame ass, okay? You could have saved that. You could have left the reunion for that. And I know people are going to say, well, she's contractually obligated. Whatever. Okay.
And some didn't show up. So it's like, she could stay home if she wanted to. She came because she wanted to be on TV. And then she was upset that she didn't get enough attention when she wanted it. So
it was upset she didn't get attention the whole time, because that's the vibe we got from her from day one. I got 5 numbers. Why am I in bottom 2? Then you holding Corey hostage, forcing him to tell people that he liked you. He liked everybody. Right. Y'all got thoughts on Tessia? We might as well get into her. Give her the first segment. Let's give her the attention that she wanted.
I think Tessia should have went home. She should not have come. I felt like it was so many people that was there for no reason. Tessia, Carrington, it was like they was forcing something to come out. They was forcing something to come out with Tessia. Yeah, right. I don't know why that man was there. I don't know what to say for Tessia. She's here now, going tomorrow. I'm not, like, she didn't really give a whole lot. My thing is just her talking about people being ghetto. And I just feel like, what's ghetto is your mama being in the hospital right now, and you decided to come and be a part of this ghetto ass show. Like, right. So she could have stayed where she was.
I just didn't why she was so upset the whole time. I felt like I felt like the season she wasn't a top or a bottom. She was always like in the middle, just straddling some kind of fence, and then she would be upset about people straddling her fence. So to come on here and then make a big thing about, well, you know, Corey liked me and the guys liked me and nobody. I think it was some of the guys were saying how Corey never had to defend Tessia because the guys never didn't like her or whatever. But I felt like, but y'all didn't really want her. She was just in the middle to have fun with, and that was really it. So I didn't get why she then came on the reunion, was like upset about all of the drama that had nothing to do with her. And then she made it about her to get up and walk away for attention. So I felt like she could stay home. But I think because other people who didn't show up, other conversations they didn't talk about, they had to lean on some of the people who had nothing to do with. I'm like, why is Carrington here? Why is his hair different? Who was that man? I don't even know that man. Even the first girl who went home, I'm like, why is she here? I forgot about her. So it was weird to see how they had to lean on less entertaining people because they couldn't talk about other stuff. So to see it go sit down some damn where.
Yeah. Here's my thing. Your dress was horrible, first of all. Ponytail was cute. Second of all, I am trying to understand why you were trying to prove.
Bondy, was that Lyric laughing? I'm sorry. Was Lyric laughing?
Was that Lyric?
No, that was Jaylee.
That was me.
Oh, okay. I was like, we come from your house. I was like, damn.
No, because I'm walking around, so y'all it's like I'm walking around. Y'all can hear me like walking around the house, so that's why I'm like in the background.
I didn't even see the little theme beam when Jaylee laughed. I'm thinking it came.
Probably didn't pick it up. But yeah, Corey. We've already kind of come to the conclusion that Corey ain't shit. So why are you so excited to prove that you were on his list? Like, what is that about? Like, I just think it proves that her self-esteem is low, like we have been saying the entire season. Mm-hmm. So I just want her to go sit down and correct that. Like, having to walk around the stage and all, like, girl, what was all of that for? And can you stand up straight when you do it? Like when you do it, like please push, you know, it needs to be this and not this. Okay, she was walking around like this. Like, bitch, what are you, a vampire? What are you, a bat? Get that together, okay? Shit. What else happened? I hated Courtney's hair. I said, Courtney, you gave us all that big hair, all that beautiful big hair during the season, all for you to come with this flat ass roller wrap to the show.
Sunday.
Yeah.
And then Camille, you the lying ass bitch. Give a fuck about a nigga. Like, what is you talking about? You ain't say that shit. You absolutely said that shit. Talking about I was chewing. Girl, I will slap the shit out of you right now, playing in my face. I'm about you ain't say that. Cornelius, are you okay, Cornelius? Because I know everybody wants us to believe that Cornelius is just out here being a hoe. But I personally believe that Cornelius is exactly who we think he is.
Oh, help me.
I'm right there with you, Bondy. I'm right there with you. And we're going to talk about it because I got a conspiracy. That word is triggering at the moment. But I have some thoughts on what's going on. Jami, what did you think about Tasia?
No thoughts. I ain't got nothing for her. I feel like the person that probably bothered me the most was Zadia, and that fake ass smile she was trying to hold on her face the entire time, acting like she was happy. Then trying to, can we talk about me and Naeem because I chose him? No, you didn't. your energy then and now shows that you did not choose him. The way Aisha and you could see the chemistry.
Right.
When it came to her back was to this man as he was holding her. I said, girl, you ain't finna, No, I am so glad this show is over.
And Naeem just kept looking out in the distance too. He had his clown mask on like he always do. He was embarrassed. He was just allowing Zadia to talk for him. That's why I didn't even talk about them when I was speaking high level, because it's the same foolery. Corey breaks down crying in tears. They show never before seen footage of him saying, I don't know, what more do you want from me? He's crying, saying to us, he doesn't know why he does the things that he does with women. He says that it's like a drug, making women feel good, and that he wants to mirror the way that his dad made his mom feel. And personally, I was not moved. Not an inch, not an ounce. I was looking at him, and from day one, just the way he operated, I always noticed with Corey, he has the ability to separate like logic from emotion. He does not have emotion. All of his emotions to me are just displayers, which he is wired differently. It's something absolutely wrong with him. And, Camille tried to go up for him. Sabrina tried to go up for him and said he had good intentions, but I think they was just trying to say he kind of special. That's all they were trying to say, in my opinion.
He's an asshole. I think he's an asshole. It's weird that he was crying, and I think that even the crying was for attention. I think he still wanted someone to feel like, oh, I'm just so sad. To say I'm crying because I want a woman to love me. I'm like, you too grown for them tears, bruh. Like, that ain't what it is. And if your whole thing is, I missed the first date, I got to get a second date. You're not crying because you feel like, you're not getting what you need. No, you full of shit. And I don't like Corey. I don't think Corey likes Corey. I think he still fools the women either.
I didn't like the fact that he needed to say to the, that you were saying earlier about Tasia, talking about, I was the one that talked so great about you, Tasia, when these guys were talking bad about you. Like, why do you have to demean her in order to make yourself seem better? Right. And he also, I feel like, did that when the women held him accountable for what he did. Like, you telling everybody you wanted to meet your parents and shit. What are you talking about? Stop acting like you were being honest. You were telling several different women different things, and then you go sit up and I want to make the women feel good, and maybe I just need to find someone that can appreciate me because they don't appreciate me. Like, who the fuck you think you're talking to? We is grown, sir. We can see you. You done been out here sexually harassing folks, okay, trying to hump them on logs, feeling on people's asses. Okay, telling all the girls the same thing, copy pasting what you say to them. Like, you're not about to convince us that you're just a good guy. And I don't know what Sabrina was talking about, but she could have saved that.
That's what I mean. She was trying to call him special. She said he doesn't think like we do. And I was like, Oh, so this is what you're saying.
Bruh.
I was gonna say something about I didn't understand the tears. I feel like maybe some could have been bothering Corey, but whatever he tried to relate it to in that moment, it didn't have nothing to do with it. So he was being fake. What else? I can't remember what else I was gonna say about Corey.
You
Say
didn't say
what?
you're an actor. Jimmy was like, well, you're an actor.
Oh
so
yeah, I
it
didn't
was
like
a
when
no.
Camille tried to speak up about that. Like, you're not gonna demean his something. Some she said, I don't know if
Oh, yeah, she was like, we're not going to discount his tears.
his tears. Yeah, I was like, shut up and sit over there. Like, nobody's
Worry
talking
about
to
your
you.
old man and his grill.
Corey is corny. That's what I wanted to say. Corny Corey. And he knows that. That's why he has to present a different type of person to the ladies, because it makes him feel better. Because if he shows up as himself, he know they're not going to like him. So he tries to do all this extra stuff because it makes him feel good instead of just being vulnerable and being himself with a woman. Okay, so I think that's just his issue. And when Jay Lee said that he don't like himself, I think that's very true because of how he showed up in this process.
Child, you can't like himself.
No, he don't. Aisha and Dante, pretty much. To me, I said they the only couple that we got from the show. Camille and Cornelius, that's a hostage situation. That's that Stockholm syndrome. I don't count that as a couple. Zadia and Naam, consolation prize. He as well is looking like a hostage, just staring off into the distance. So Aisha and Dante, they seem like, things are going well for them. But what I wanted to ask y'all, because this is what I mentioned in my review. Do y'all think that Dante is the type of guy who would look forward to marriage? The only reason why I'm asking is because whenever Tanika asked him, he said, well, the sky's the limit. And I'm not trying to say he should be ready to marry her right now, but I do feel like you shouldn't always hold a person's history against them, but repeatedly throughout Dante's life, from what we know, he's created different households, different children, different relationships with different women 3 times. So I wonder if he truly is in a place to where marriage is his end goal, or if he wants like a life partnership.
Well, I like the fact that he wasn't trying to give a pretty answer. I think so many times people come on this show and they say, yeah, I'm supposed to come here, meet somebody, fall in love, and get married. And sometimes that may not be the instant thing. What I like they both said how they had good and bad times, they're working through it, and the sky's the limit. So I do think he's open to marriage, but I don't think he wants to put that pressure on them now, because sometimes they're saying to somebody, we're gonna get married. That adds pressure to, okay, well then when? Because you said it today, it's been 2 months. What about that marriage? So I like that he was like, I don't want to make that be the thing. Because if we think about it, it's been what, 4 months I'm on the show. So it may take more time to even say we should be married. I like the connection though, because they do seem like kindred spirits in one way or the other. And I like how they kind of mesh. But I think the 2 couples was Shiloh and Phil, and Dante and Aisha. And those were the only 2 genuine connections that
Shiloh and Phil? You
Sydney.
Sure?
Sydney and Phil. Sydney and Phil.
Okay.
I think
forgot
those
about
were the
Sydney
only 2. Those were the only 2 actual connections on the reunion that you saw. It was something. Because with Camille and Cornelius, he was held hostage with grills in his mouth in a genie outfit, and he was bald headed. So I felt like Camille has her hooks in that man, and he need to escape. I think with Zadia and Naeem, she just didn't want to come here alone, and he didn't want to come here alone either, and that's why they did together. And they just dressed alike, and that was it. And he sat up there and tried to. People want more friendships and relationships. Well, like you and Zadia, y'all ain't fucking, so don't try to fool me. And then I feel like everybody else was just like characters.
You don't think so?
Zadia and Naeem?
Yeah, you don't think so?
No. I think they did not want to be. I think they did not want to be alone. I think she wanted to save face and come back and not be single. And so did he. And they both, not saying they don't like each other, but it ain't gonna last. That was for the show. That was to come back on and say, hey, I like her and he liked me. So let's come on here and act like we're a couple. But give him 6 months. No. My fault. Give him 6 weeks. No.
Yeah, I got the same thing. I don't think they're together at all. Like, I think that was definitely just for the show. In terms of Dante and Aisha and him not being probably ready for marriage, I mean, that could be true. Maybe he's not. I like Jay Lee's explanation about not wanting to put pressure on it too soon, but then it made me think maybe he could be apprehensive based on how she's apprehensive because she's been married before, and that's not something she wants right now anyway. So he may just go to the beat of her drum and just see. So when he said the sky's the limit, he was right, because it's only gonna really, I think, be dependent on her and what she may want. If he really wants marriage more than her, then probably not gonna last. But I think that's probably what was going through his mind.
I find it a bit problematic because I think the question insinuates that we're talking about in the future and not right now. And
That's right.
if you can't say that that's something that you can see or even something that you want, it just makes me question if they want the same things. I don't even know if we've ever seen them have that conversation where they talk about whether they want marriage or not. And at the end of the day, they could not. They could be just a couple for the rest of their lives if they choose to. So they don't have to be, like married eventually. They could just be a couple if that's what they want. But because of his history, I could absolutely see how one would if that is a actual thought, like, oh, I'm not thinking about it right now. It's still very new. Or if you're saying that because you already know I'm not really gonna marry her. I'm probably gonna stick with her for a few more months, enjoy my time with her, and then I'll wane off. You know what I'm saying? Because men think like that sometimes. They know if a woman is marriage material or if it's somebody that they just playing with. And based on this show, he could also be somebody that's not really wanting to be married after all of his various relationships and shit, and just not want to be honest with her about that because she wants marriage. So it left a lot to be desired about getting, to know something personal about their relationship, because I feel like all we saw was the chemistry on the show. We didn't even really get to see how they formed the connection, really. And then y'all come to the reunion show, and once again, we seeing all this hot and heavy energy and shit, and that's great. But y'all are also being quite evasive about you guys' relationship, giving us this example of how he feels safe with you, and y'all had disagreements, and he can go and have his space and then come back to you. Like, that's not exactly healthy sounding, bitch. Like, that could be a bad thing. So I just kind of feel like,
because I saw that as a red flag, Bondy, because when she said that she gives him his space and that makes him feel safe, then he can come back. She seemed proud of that. But it seemed like a red flag to me because he also could groom her to give him his space when he lashes out. So I was like, that's interesting. But let me not dig, because I don't have anything outside of that sentence. But I'm glad you peeped the same thing I did.
I also peeped that Aisha is good at presenting what men want in a smart way. But her energy, her aesthetic, the way she talks, the way she doesn't want to put pressure on it, all of it is geared to, I want to be as attractive as I can be to a man, even if it makes me uncomfortable. And that is what I question about Aisha as it pertains to being in a relationship with somebody like Dante, who may take advantage of that type of allowance in a relationship with a woman like Aisha. So, it does kind of make us wonder. But again, it's early on. We'll give it time.
I mean, especially now that you say that, reminds me of whenever she was talking to his brothers and said that she wanted a traditional man who would take care of everything. And as soon as they were like, that ain't him, she was like, well, not necessarily, pay the bill, do this, do that. Like, then all of a sudden everything started waning. You have first wanted to be submissive, as in he takes care of all the bills. Then it turned into not monetarily, it turned into just as far as roles. I'm like, but that's not really what you meant. You wanted somebody to pay the bills. Somebody who probably is paying for 3 children as well. And then yo too. So I was like,
I was gonna say, don't remind me of that fucking brother trying to impress upon her about what she needs to be willing to do because of the workhorse his mom was. Don't nobody care about your mama being Florida Evans, nigga. Okay, nobody cares. Fuck out of here, man.
Well, okay, so now that we done got that reviewing out the way, there has been more tea out and about Cornelius, which I thought I had to put on my Inspector Gadget outfit because to me, something about this situation did not sound right. So this young lady in the picture, her name is Alex, and she went live on Instagram with Courtney from this season and Simone from a previous season of Ready to Love. She then explains her or what she called a relationship or friendship with Cornelius, and people have been rumoring that she is Cornelius's mistress. So I watched the interview from the Instagram page. I also watched her interview with Little Black Book, so shout out to him. That's where I got this picture from. But something to me just didn't sound right about the whole situation. She claims, y'all keep in mind, the reunion was filmed November 7th. She meets him on November 12th. She had to interview him for a red carpet. She's an interviewer. So then they exchange information because he reaches out to her asking for videos from the interview. She said, how would you like the videos? They exchange numbers. So then they talk over the course of a week. She tells him that she can get him into the Soul Train Awards. So then they both agreed to go on a 3-day trip to New York on November 19th. So keep in mind, they've been knowing each other for 1 week at this point. They go to New York, they get a hotel room, split the cost, 2 different beds. However, they sleep in the same bed the entire time. Now, there were some inconsistencies, in my opinion. In the first interview where Alex is talking to Courtney and Simone, she says that Cornelius is not celibate and that it was popping. Then towards the end of the interview, she says they didn't have sex. Then the next interview with Lil Black Book, she says they didn't have sex, but when we first met you, you said it was popping. Then when she's talking to Lil Black Book, she then explains that the entire time Camille knew about her, but the story that Cornelius put on her was that Alex was his publicist. So the entire time, to me, initially when she comes out with the story, she makes it seem like she was this secret girlfriend, secret mistress. But once she claims and recounts the story, nothing was a secret. This man might have said he was single, but everything he told you outside of that, you knew the man wasn't single. You've known this man for a week. Yes, y'all went to New York together on a 3-day trip. However, it was a business trip. Cornelius crossed boundaries multiple times. And it seemed to me like she was just disappointed that it didn't turn into what she thought it was going to turn into. He told her multiple times that he had to find a way to end the relationship with Camille, and he didn't know how. So she was going to sit there on the back court waiting on him to end the relationship with Camille. And now she's coming out and speaking her part. So I think Alex wanted a little bit of clout from it, in my opinion. But I hope y'all got a chance to watch the interview. And if y'all did, I just want to know y'all's thoughts on how Cornelius was moving, how Alex was moving. What do y'all think?
I didn't get a chance to watch like the full interview, but I did see some clips. But listening to your breakdown of the story, it's giving, first of all, what was awkward when I saw the snippet, I was kind of confused. Like, how are you friends with Courtney, but y'all both was dang near seeing the same person? So if he was with Camille, at some point he was seeing Courtney too, possibly, you know, with how the dates and stuff was set up. So you was also in the mix. Something's not making sense. And do you do this with a lot of people that you come across? You know, you play on them about how you can get them into a spot in hopes of trying to get it to go a bit further than what it is. Something was just off. It's not adding up for me. It sounds like she's not happy that things didn't go as far as she wanted it to go, and now she's airing him out and then trying to, I guess, get a little bit of clout off the situation while she's hot. But you already have access to the people, so it's not like you really need this. So I don't know.
I feel like Todd trying to bring us the bullshit. Todd, I blame Todd. That's all I know. I blame Todd.
Poor Todd. He's always being blamed for shit he has nothing to do with. Hope that's how it continues on OLG. Y'all turn Todd into a bad guy, I'm gonna be upset. I watched the interview in its entirety. I mean, on playback speed 1.25, but still I listened to it. And I was confused by old girl. I was a little confused, like you were. You didn't smash, but you stayed in the same bed, and then y'all massaged and all of this type of shit. She was like, he asked for a massage, and it's like, nigga, if you asking for massages, you trying to fuck something. And then they stayed in the same bedroom. She thought he was trying to be celibate until all of the massaging happened, but then they just ended up not having sex. I was just kind of like, okay. I was just very confused by that. But the thing I did feel like she probably was telling the truth about was when she was saying that Camille had been in her inbox, acting like an ass. That sound right. That sound right. I also feel like he probably did tell Camille that she was just a publicist, because Camille is going to flip out either way. Camille didn't want him talking to people when they were on the dating show together. You think that she's going to want him going out of town with a woman that, he might be interested in, let alone holding hands and taking pictures and shit and all of that. And then the Corey aspect of this story, like, makes me dislike Corey even more, because Corey is one of them homeboys that's going to keep the lie alive for you. So he was helping facilitate the bullshit, between Cornelius, Camille, and Alex. And so I just kind of feel like Cornelius seems like a fuck nigga, but it's also a perpetration. And when you look at Corey, it's funny that Corey and Cornelius seem to be the closest when y'all both come off fugazi as fuck. Birds of a feather flock together type shit. So it's all very telling. I'm glad this season is over, and I hope that these new singles at least almost fuck on camera. Give us something. Jesus
That's
Christ.
What they look like they might do. They seem way more physical.
And that's what I want.
Based on the previews.
Act like y'all like each other.
Another thing I wanted to call out, though, another reason why I feel like it seemed like she was upset that it didn't go where she wanted it to. When I say she, I'm talking about Alex. Is because in the interview with Lil Black Book, she then says that Cornelius would vent to her about being upset that people would think that he was gay. She then said that he told her that oftentimes he would try to, make sex an option so that a woman wouldn't think that he was gay. So she also mentioned like 3 times in the interview, Corey came to our hotel room, but he didn't spend the night. But Cornelius went to go take a shower, and Corey went in there with him, and they talked. And she said Corey went in there with him like 3 times. It was like 3 times. And it was immediately after her telling us that Cornelius was insecure about people insinuating he was gay. Now I say all this to say, Cornelius, I don't know what his preference is, but I'm just letting y'all know this story does not solidify. It doesn't give us an answer either way it goes. I feel like this was a scheme that Todd and them made up. And I feel like this story is convenient for all parties. It could be convenient for Cornelius, for people to believe that he is a player, that he plays women. It could be convenient for Alex to get a little bit of clout off of it, but that's all. That's that on it.
I want them to go away. I want Cornelius to go
and
away.
They
I want Camille to go away. I want Zadia to go away. I want Walter to go away.
I want Lil Black Book to stop doing 5-hour-long interviews with these motherfuckers. Jesus Christ.
Here's me talking.
Right.
Well, brand new season tomorrow. So let's move on from that to talking about Married at First Sight. Married at First Sight, y'all. I swear I be ready to title my videos. I watched 2 hours of the show, so you don't have to, because this show be long AF. So many reoccurring themes in the first couple of episodes. So we can just talk a little bit, like one thing from every single couple. So when it comes to Stephen Noy, this is unemployed. He meets with her family for the first time, and He says he wants to have a family. Noy wants to have a family more than anything. And Noy's family is telling him, how you going to have a family with no job? And he says, well, different people want different things. Different people have different expectations for life. What's your expectation? You and your kids living under a bridge or in your car? What are you talking about? That's not a logical answer. So eventually, I feel like Noy is going to get frustrated with Steve. I don't think this man has any intentions of getting a job. He even said to her, we'll have conversations about if and when I go full time. So I don't think he plans on getting a job. I barely think he's freelancing, honestly. Y'all have any thoughts on unemployed?
My thoughts on Stephen Noy. That was such an awkward situation for him to be in. I know, okay, because I don't know the friend's name, Sriracha or something like that. Was definitely holding him to task. Okay, her brother. Mm-hmm. Okay, he was definitely holding Steve to task. I do understand a little bit because I was thinking that too, Necey, like, is he really out here freelancing, like for real? Like, is you really out here getting it? So let's just say hypothetically, like, let's just say he is, right? He is right, though. Everybody does have like different expectations, like, you know, for work is. It's not that he's not working or he doesn't have a job or he's not getting money. He's just not getting it in the fashion in which y'all think he should get it by going in somebody's office, working a 9 to 5, 8 to 5, whatever it is. He's probably bringing in the same, if not more, being a freelancer than sitting in somebody's office and being told what to do. And I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm just trying to think about it like in a different way for him. And I also felt like, I guess the questions weren't bad to know, like, where we at, like what you want to do you want to have kids and stuff, and about the future. But some part of me was like, dang, I feel like that question coming too fast. Like, get to know him just a little bit more, because by the end of this process, she may not even want to be with him. Like, I don't know. I just felt like the mama was like, I want grandbabies. It was like she wanted them like within the next few months. Like, I need you to get her pregnant ASAP.
Too soon. Right?
Yeah.
They think microwavable family, and it's not like that. They put you with somebody, but you still have to get to know them first.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
I think. Look, Jami, you know, girl, I don't work for nobody, so I understand. But I'm also wondering, okay, so how are you paying for your travels? Are you working? Do you have a savings? And what I mean by working is, are you making your money another way? Like, you don't have to have a job. Like, if he explains, oh, I work for myself, I do e-commerce, or I have an online business, or I blog my travels and make money off of that. Like, he could have said anything to us besides, oh, I'm just kind of in between jobs, you know, because then that'll end up showing up in other ways. I mean, did y'all listen to the Mirla interview that who was that, Tamara Tattles did?
I didn't get a chance to.
She basically said that Gil was playing with the money. Like, he would act like he had it, like they were supposed to be getting his place and he was supposed to pay for half. And he was like, oh, well, Mirla, you can just pay for it for me and then I'll give you the money later. And then she had to keep asking about it. And then it was a while later when she finally got her money back. You know what I'm saying? So, and then, yeah. So I have to finish listening to the whole thing, but she was very much saying that he was fronting, you know, acting like he was saving money. And then she went through his finances and found out he wasn't saving money. He was buying new clothes and shoes and putting shit on his car and all of that type of stuff. Yeah.
The same stuff he talked bad on her for.
Exactly.
Come and think he had some red bottoms on at the reunion?
Yes, he did. Remember?
Walking around in that lady money.
Tamara Tattles actually did like I believe she was doing like calculations of the money and shit on her channel, but I wasn't looking at it. I was listening, so I only saw it ever so often. But I absolutely feel like the way we thought that he was a bum ass that was probably going to take advantage of the fact that lady worked, you know, hard and make all that money, but then try to make her out to be like the bad guy, to make it, you know, come down a little bit to meet my broke ass where I'm at. But then at the same time, pay for shit for me. Like, I was like, wow. So I felt like something had happened and it wasn't as simple, because we actually did see them liking each other and she made him wait all that time for a kiss and then she fucked him. Like, that's not the type of woman that wasn't like actually trying at some point. Alyssa is somebody that's not trying at some point.
Not him getting his teeth done. And you supposedly sending all your money to Colombia.
I had to listen to the rest of it, but she was feeling some tea about how he really was, girl.
I'm gonna have to listen to that.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it yet. For Stephen Noy, I like that connection, but I also feel like I think it's weird they had someone come on here who didn't have like a regular job to like explain how he can take care of a wife. So that to me was weird for them to know he's not working. But I also wondered the fact that he was able to travel for 4 months, if he had saved enough money to where he don't have to work. I think people don't get sometimes if you working for 4, 5, 6 years, you save your money, you can get laid off and then be able to just chill out. I did that back in 2015. I didn't work for a while because I had money saved and I was able to chill. Now I didn't go on no show and get married with a husband, that I have to discuss things with. So that part is weird. But I do feel like the way he explains how he makes money doesn't make sense yet. I think he don't know what he wants to do yet. I think all he knows is right now I'm okay and I can figure it out later. But I think that's unfair when you have a new wife who wants to know how we're going to make things work. So I think he needs to have some kind of plan and he needs to figure that out before the end, before the 8 weeks is up. Like that should be something you think about now because she's your wife and y'all do want kids and she might not get pregnant tomorrow. But again, if you don't want to work and you want to have this freelance thing, okay, how is this going to work for us? Like, how is your freelancing going to really work? Because, shit is fickle. So I want him to come up with something to make her feel like he at least is thinking about what's going to happen later on in their life.
Right. I agree. And I think when that happens, when they do have a sit down and it's them talking, she needs to stay focused on what works for them and not hear all the outside noise from her family because it's not looking how they think it should look.
I don't know. Some ain't right to me. Because see, I saw somebody in the comments say he's an engineer. I don't think he's an engineer. He works in tech sales.
He said he was in sales. But I think the weird thing is, like, because no one can control being laid off. So it wasn't as if he was just a bum before. Like, he was working for years and got laid off. And then because of the pandemic, he thought, I got money saved. I'm going to travel and get my mind focused. So I feel like there's nothing wrong with that. I just think the timing of him being laid off, him, taking a road trip and then him get on the show, that's what's weird because you came on this show knowing you did not have a job. But I also feel like I don't think he planned to not have a job. He didn't plan to get laid off. So that's the weird part. Like, but I just wish he would have figured something out once he knew he was booked for the show. I wish he would at least had a plan or idea of how to explain what his plan would be later on. And I feel like he doesn't really have that. He just says, I'm freelancing. And that's fine because, again, people do, jobs are different now. Everyone isn't in the office, being paid by, like, freelancing is a thing.
Yeah, it's like called gig work at times because they get paid like it could be a lot of, like, he could be getting paid like what they get paid salary to do stuff for like 3 months. You see what I'm saying? That's what, but of course, how they're making it look on the show is looking like, what? Like, like this man probably made $90,000 in 3 months because he's doing gigs. He's doing the freelance work.
There is a potential.
Yeah.
I don't think he's hurting for money right now. I think he doesn't act like someone who's hurting for money because he still like I'll work where I want. So
and you're not gonna hurt for money if you exchange your mortgage payment with gas. So that's why I'm like, you're not gonna hurt for money when your mortgage and electricity just turned into a gas bill, and that's it. So I really am like, I don't know. We're gonna see. So y'all, the next couple, let's talk about Ojuan. I always say his name like that, and people always be like, it's Ojuan. Okay. He did not have the best impression on Katina's friends. They get the vibe that he is there for clout. And when he sat down with them, he didn't feel the need to over explain himself or prove to them that he was genuine. He says that he joined the show to try something new. Or let me not say join the show. He said he decided to do Married at First Sight to try something new. I'm a good looking guy. I don't have trouble dating or catching women, but I wanted to try something new. And her friends are like, but no, marriage is permanent. So it was a disconnect. And I think this is Olajuwon's issue. You don't know how to read people and you don't know common sense, I feel like. The way that he came off to her friends was very telling of who he is. Isaac is popping back up. And I also want to know how old he is because we continue talking about him being a college athlete. Glory days are over. What are you doing now? Okay. Well, they're still over.
29 or 30.
So what did y'all think about Olajuwon and Katina?
I don't trust him.
I was annoyed by him the entire episode. There were so many times that he was talking too much, okay? And almost trying to tell Katina how to think or what she should be feeling. And I did not like that. And I felt like that was a huge red flag. All of that fast over talking, and then you telling her how to feel, and you're talking to her like she's stupid, and you applying all of this pressure physically, and we noticing it. He was just doing way too much as far as I was concerned this episode. And Katina might be sexually attracted to him, but see, once she get that wag dick, it's over.
I don't trust anybody who sleep in jewelry. And I feel like every time I've seen it, because I watched all 3 episodes like a whole swoop, and I felt like I never seen him take off his jewelry. At night, he wearing the same chains. I don't trust men who sleep in jewelry. So when I kept seeing him in the flashy jewelry and how he talk or whatever, I was like, I don't trust him. He can't be trusted. Now, while I don't think he's going to try to purposely hurt her, he's going to end up hurting her because that's just who he is. And I feel bad when they were in their bed talking and he was saying how she has like her guard up or whatever. And he was trying to say like, I'm your husband. Like, you don't have to have your guard. I'm like, no, nigga, you a stranger. Like, y'all, she don't know. You say she should have her guard up, but I didn't. And again, him laying in them chains and them gold chains and them tattoos. And, trust me, you can let I'm like, no, she should not. You should want her to take the time to get you don't know who you is yet. Because is your name Isaac? Is it Olajuwon? Is it Jesus? I don't know. What I do know is I call him Magic Mike. That's magic because he got the muscles. He want to be a stripper. When I seen him at the bachelorette party like these with the girls, I was like, he gonna fuck up some shit. And I feel bad. Now, do I hope in 2 weeks he realized she's a great wife and he can't be this asshole in them gold chains? I hope that happens. I don't think it will because he take the fucking gold chains off and just be bare. To me, looking like a playboy who in the club trying to impress people. And if that's your wife, be basic. He ain't basic enough for me. Yes, I don't trust him.
Damn. I was about to say something about him that I noticed and I forgot that fast. Damn it. It's all right. We'll circle back.
Okay. The only thing that stood out for me when it comes to Olajuwon is that he does not listen at all. He don't listen. He likes to overtalk. He loves to be heard, which makes me wonder how he experienced life a little bit, but not really care that much at the same time. But the other thing is Olajuwon likes to be in control of women. And you could tell how he's trying to somewhat train his wife a little bit, kind of like manipulating her already. Like you brought up a conversation and then when she speaks on it, you tell her don't dwell on it. And it's like, ain't nobody I don't know if it was the exact words dwelling, but I'm like, ain't nobody say that. You brought it up, so she's speaking on it now. I think it was about the situation with Lindsay, what she had his back or whatever. So I didn't really like the dynamics of that. He was trying to control. I said those are like little indicators right there. How he gonna try and psychologically get in your head, put the little peen on you, and you're gonna be messed up, girl.
Trying to tell her that she shouldn't feel some kind of way about him.
Unpopular opinion. I think that old girl might end up cheating on him.
You think?
And that's gonna hurt his ego very bad because he is a man
Yeah, in the previews, he was like, "What is that in your phone?" And the way she was disengaged from him, it made me feel like I'm over this process, which made me feel like you was attracted to him until you found out the dick was whack, because his energy gives me whack dick. And it don't matter how many girls you go on dates with. You give off a vibe like once you get in the bed, you don't know what to do. All of that gyrating and shit, it look cute, but you could be putting your dick in a whole bunch of different directions it don't need to go in, and that's painful. So at the end of the day, I don't trust Elijah Wan to be the type of hoe that's good at sex like Peter Guns or somebody. I just feel like something is going to happen, and Katina is going to be the one that ends up going outside of it. And I feel like, yes, finally, we get a woman to kind of be more problematic, because I'm tired of seeing it the opposite way all the time. It's always the men dogging these women out. Always
the fuck boys. I'm trying to see a
right.
city.
And then we don't want to listen either, because that was just fucked up. Like, I really want to see an asshole get played. I don't want to see a really nice man. Like, this episode was torture because of their storyline. And, you know, I don't want to rush into it or nothing, but, you know, shit.
Yeah. So, speaking of Lindsay, we also see that Lindsay ruffles some feathers when they're on the way to Puerto Rico. So apparently Lindsay and Mark end up going on a different bus once they arrive in Puerto Rico. Everybody's like, what's going on? What's going on? Tensions are high. Apparently, she was on the bus talking to Olajuwon and Katina, and she said, you have to speak Spanish because you're in their country. You have to respect their country. Her and him exchange words. They say it gets heated. None of it is filmed. So I really don't know what happened. But in my opinion, Mark didn't seem too concerned. Mark apologized to the group for the way she behaved, and he wanted to make sure everything was good on both sides. Lindsay then is at the hotel room crying, basically saying she felt threatened because Ola was puffing his chest and everything else. To me, I was like, Lindsay, I can definitely see you irritating people. And when people cuss you out, it's like, I don't know why everybody hates me. Why don't people like me? And it's like, that's why. That's why. I do feel like if Olajuwon overstepped and was a true threat to her, many of the men would have had differing opinions. It seemed like everybody was siding with Ola and Katina. Nobody was like, let me pull this man to the side and talk to him. Everybody felt like Lindsay was doing the most, because Bondy, I saw when we was in a group, he was like, what? Lindsay, that was Karen. And I was like, well, what did she do? I thought he was talking about Alyssa. So, Lindsay,
I was disappointed in her. And this is why I felt like it was a Karen moment. At the end of the day, Mark shouldn't have went down there by himself. You should have got your shit together, went down there and apologized to everybody if they felt like you were doing a lot. You know you're a lot. Your daddy didn't say you a lot. You know you a lot. So just be proactive about how you can come off, okay? And be apologetic when you get out of line with people unknowingly. Because we are, you know, around different people who don't know each other, different ethnicities, all kind of shit is going on that's differing in mindset and in experience in this moment. So I just kind of feel like, even though I recognize that Lindsay is absolutely being a motherfucking Karen and disappointing me, at the same time, Olajuwon was on one. And I absolutely feel like, even though she may have been being annoying, there was something about the way he was explaining it on the bus to the producer that made me feel like, why are you this amped though? Like, he was just really, really, I don't need you telling me anything. I don't need you telling me or my wife anything. And I was just kind of like, I get that, but that your reaction is still very heightened for something that was just damn, it seemed like he won't fight me or some shit like that. Like, it's a drunk bitch, bro. Like, you ain't never been around a drunk white bitch before. You just kind of, you know, especially if they ain't all in your shit, you just kind of be like, you know, hey, say, bro, can you please get your old lady? I don't want to disrespect her. She's doing a lot right now. You know what I'm saying? But your energy being up here made me feel like she probably had a right to feel like, oh shit, is he about to like actually, you know, because his energy was like,
That's what I thought until I based the temperament of the men around him. When I saw him explaining, I was like, maybe he did. What her?
When I seen that, this is what
No,
I
I
felt.
just mean
Can y'all hear
men.
me over here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm away from my computer, but I feel like this is what I think. I feel like Lindsay has a tendency to be a white woman and feel like I can say what I want to say, how I want to say it, and if I'm gonna say to you, hey, you gotta speak this way here, and I feel like some people do not respect strangers telling me what I need to do. So I feel like Elijah Wan's energy could have been heightened. I feel like we have to also give space to know some white women take liberties to talk to people any kind of way. And some people don't like that. And I don't feel like it's wrong for him to say, hey, don't tell me what I need to do. And the fact that Lindsay Daddy was saying her mouth can be reckless. And sometimes you to calm her down, I feel like that could have been what happened. And that's why no other couple, black, white, or indifferent, was like, you know what? Elijah was too much. I feel like no one said nothing because Lindsay probably was doing too much. And they all was like, you know what? Let them go off on their own because Lindsay on some bullshit. Lindsay, look, she better be a little bit drunk. And I'm like, I don't like when white women try to come at black people in any kind of way, telling me what I should do, telling my husband what I should do. And I think sometimes we do have to get hyped with them because if her daddy's saying she be too much, her mouth be too reckless, that could have been her doing that and just being herself. And she wasn't used to someone saying, hey, don't do that shit with me. So I'm like, I don't want to paint Elijah as if he was puffing up too much because he's an asshole. I feel like it could have really been Lindsay was being a bitch and she got checked and she didn't like it. And then she wanted to make it seem as if, oh, he came at me. He want to fight me. I'm like, but no other couple felt that. And I think had it happened that way, I think at least the other white couples would have at least rode on a bus with them. The fact that Lindsay and Mark was on their own and Mark came down and apologized means even he knew his wife went 2 steps too far and let's try to squash it.
That could be the case. I feel like I wonder if Lindsay was already getting on Elijah Wan's nerves, and then you know what I'm saying? Because we already know she does too much. She probably do too much, talk too much, too loud, everything. So when she came over there and asked him about whatever, about the Hispanic thing or whatever, and then you telling this man, yeah, we are in a time for real. Like, first of all, I don't want nobody telling me nothing. Don't tell me nothing of what it is that I need to do. Especially if I didn't seek you out. But then when you're a colorless person, I really don't want to hear nothing that you have to say. Absolutely. It made me think about the actions that Lindsay always brings up her mom and how her mama don't really interact with her. So it makes me wonder, how do you show up with your mom? Like, do you often do this with her, which is why she don't want to talk to you sometimes? Or are your actions now a result of how she's treated you over the years? Yes. Or could it be a little bit of both, right? So there's that. But here's the other thing with Elijah Wan. I could see Elijah Wan being extremely turned up because even Katina's friend recognized and felt like he was doing this show for like fame or whatever, like to get some attention. So he probably did that because he knew the cameras was gonna catch it, so he can get even more, attention. So yeah, I mean, you was already mad. We get that, and then you make it bigger. But I mean, I guess it just depends on what all happened in that moment. He probably was really feeling it.
I'm also confused about what Katina's role was in this situation, because at first it seemed like she wasn't really saying anything, but when they talked later on, it seemed like she was bucking. So it's like, so were both of y'all turned up on this? Okay.
Mm-hmm. So
that's
then
why
it's
she
like
was crying.
She must have did something. But see, because Lindsay is so used to operating like that, and obviously the daddy and the brother be just pacifying her, like, no, it's okay.
Like they do
she don't. Yep, she not used to being checked.
Nope.
And then to be checked by a black man, I'm sure that hits different, girl. The same way it hit different for him, for you to try and tell him what it is that he needs to do.
He was so aggressive. He was coming at me. I'm like, okay.
That's why it was very much given to me. Why
here's the thing.
They like me.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate just for a second. Can I play devil's advocate just for a second? Like, I do feel like Lindsay is annoying as fuck, but I also feel like if she was saying that to everybody or just being like that with everybody, why are y'all two the ones that had to pop off? And I just kind of feel like that's a teller to me, I know that she specifically went up to Elijah and asked if he could speak Spanish, and he was like, a little bit, but I'm gonna speak English because that's what I'm comfortable speaking. And she was like, well, you know, we're in their native land or whatever. And it's like, yeah, nobody wants to hear that from a colonizer. We get it, but I just still feel like that still isn't that fucking deep. Like, I just still feel like the reaction he had on the bus. You would have, like, I need to hear that she did more than that, is what I'm saying. For y'all to be red-faced mad the way they seemed about the situation. Like, I just need to hear, can we get a little bit more what the back and forth was when y'all got into it? Because if all she said was, you know, we're going to the native land, it could have been like, well, listen, I don't give a fuck about going to the native land, bro. I'm going to speak English, and that's that on that. Like, I don't understand.
I feel like her drunk ass didn't say it like that. She probably, you know, it's something about, like Jami said, colorless people. I feel like a lot of them feel the need to lay the law. They always feel like they have to be enforcers on what should be done and what you should be doing. So I don't feel like she's saying, well, guys, since we here, she was probably like, you're going to do this. Her energy is always on 100,000. So I think she probably came at him sideways and he came at her 100,000.
Because once he said, I'm gonna speak English because that's what I felt comfortable doing, she should have told him nothing else after that. Because I told you what I'm gonna do. So you can't then tell me, well, you should, bitch. I said what I said.
Did you watch the after show, Necey?
No.
Okay. Somebody said in the comments that we should have watched the after show because there was more clarity in the after show, and I didn't catch it. But I only caught that part where Keisha Knight Pulliam was asking Alyssa questions. That's the only part that I caught.
Yeah, me too.
I sent y'all that video.
Yes.
That was everything. Did I?
Yes.
Yeah, I did. Okay.
You did? Okay.
Because I couldn't remember if I was watching it or if I sent it to y'all. Yeah. Oh, yes. All right. So Michael and Jasmina, they really didn't have a lot going on this episode. He met her stepmom. Her stepmom says it's concerning that he didn't have a prime example of a marriage in his life. She says Jasmina did, but what I find interesting is she also has suffered a lot of loss. Being that her mom walked out on her dad eventually handed over his rights. So I think she's seen things twofold. She's seen things the same way Michael has. And when we met Jasmina in the beginning, she told us that her stepmom actually adopted her when she was 17. So I'm implying that from the time Jasmina was a kid, from the time she turned 17 when her dad handed over his rights, she probably seen an unhealthy marriage. And it wasn't until she was in adulthood that you are now with her stepdad. So I just find it interesting that she saw so much concern in Michael not having an example when him and Jasmina are probably, you know, one and the same, because I would assume that majority of her life, you were probably with her dad. So I don't know. I guess we just gonna see how it play out. Both of them have suffered loss, either abandonment or death. So I feel like later on in the season, we're gonna see them get to conflict and both of them are gonna shut down.
Jasmina rubbed me wrong. I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. Jasmina rubbed me wrong because I feel like she was trying to make a disagreement happen between her and Michael when they were talking about what happened between Elijah and Lindsay. He was basically just saying, I feel like, you know, I just kind of anticipate that when we come together, probably with white folks, is probably what he was thinking, that there may be some type of conflict. And she was like, well, I don't want to think like that. I don't want to think that, oh, there's going to be conflict. I don't live in that negative space. And I'm like, girl, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, at the end of the day, if you don't understand that this is a possibility, I don't know what to tell you. There are so many things that are a possibility when a group of people come around. Like, for instance, somebody might get into it. Somebody may not like each other. A couple may not want to be together. A couple may be fucking on the trip. Child, there are so many things that could possibly happen that you would not be shocked by. An argument happening between people that don't know each other on a damn reality show. Like, seriously, it's a reality show. You don't expect conflict on a reality show? So I just kind of felt like she was trying to make that an argument between the two of them. And I didn't see him trying to make an argument out of it. It was just, you know what, I just kind of, you know, expected it. Well, I don't want to think like that. Oh, what?
I agree. Jasmine is definitely going to be a problem. With the whole negative space, it was something about the negative space. So my thing with her is she was definitely trying to create an argument, because remember she said to him her past guy wouldn't argue with her. He said, oh, that's not going to be a problem here or something like that. I think he said wouldn't argue with her. So it was just giving me, oh, she liked to argue. She liked to fight. So for her mama to sit up there, a stepmama, and act like she's seen great examples, I'm like, no, she hasn't. Because I think that's her only idea of what love looks like, is that she got to argue with the person that she with, because that's how she's showing herself to be and present. And I hated it. And for you to sit up there and be like, oh, well, that's concerning. I was like, didn't Jasmina, I could be wrong, I could have sworn Jasmina said she didn't have great examples of a marriage. I thought she said that maybe she didn't. You say she did?
She did.
Yeah, okay. So while the mama sitting up here saying that she did, I'm like, that's your perception. And I hate that you just acting like this boy, like, I just didn't like how she was so concerned, right? As if he was a problem. And I just feel like, basically,
she was like, I'm
it's
scared.
Yeah.
When she said, I'm scared, I was like, I'm scared. And
you
it's a representative. It's a representative that you just met him. What is it supposed to be right now?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But that's the thing, though. You could see the calmness coming off of him. Like, just being, like, you could tell his aura is calmness.
He's zoned out.
But your daughter,
okay.
Right. Your daughter, no, ma'am. She's definitely going to be a problem. Looking at the previews for the next episode or throughout the season, I'm talking about I'm not going to respond how you want me to respond. I said, oh, baby, she's going to be embarrassed.
Well, you know her tune is going to change, because I was watching one of the after shows where it was her, Katina, and Lindsay. And Lindsay was saying she was unsure why Alyssa blocked her. And then all of a sudden, Jasmina was like, well, no, you were talking about her at the bachelorette party. So whenever she said she didn't want to live in a negative space and she was just above it all, her tune eventually changes. And I think Lindsay's going to cause more havoc this season, which is probably why she was holding her accountable in the after show.
And y'all, that's the point. I told y'all, me seeing Lindsay was on the after show first. That first episode that I watched, the second one or whatever, it was that one with the three of them. And all I could feel was them kind of being like, I don't know, like they weren't very talkative, the two of them. But Lindsay was just very talkative and congenial. And it made them look like bitches on a slick. So it was like something must have happened here. But it was just the way the body language was. And then Katina was coming off a little neutral at first. So even, even Jasmina was giving like, oh, here go this bitch. You know what I'm saying? So I was just kind of like, this is going to be problematic. All of this, all of y'all. I don't know if you're ready for the confrontation, my girl, but you're about to get into it with people.
The reason I don't really feel, when Jasmina said that she's never had all of her relationships have been long distance. So she's not even used to being with somebody in person. So that's one thing that I thought was kind of crazy. But also because the mama saying, well, it's weird that Michael doesn't have any good, examples. But I'm like, Jasmina seems to be worse, because she's had multiple examples of horrible marriages and being abandoned in these things. So I feel like they're trying to build her up and make it seem as if, well, Michael's the worst because he doesn't have it. But Jasmine doesn't either. And she hasn't even dated in her own town. At least Michael has had to be dated around. So it's like, I think that's why she's consistently trying to fuss with him and cause issue, because she's probably used to that. She's used to the distance and she don't want him to be close to her. But I'm like, that's going to be the downfall of the marriage. I know he probably has his faults too, but I feel like she's already trying to cause conflict when she doesn't have to, just to have some kind of distance between them. And I think it's stupid.
Speaking of stupid, let's get to Alyssa. So Alyssa has to be another disrespectful ass Karen on the show. I felt like she reminded me very much of Haley and Jacob, and I peeped it from day one. Even before I even saw them meet each other, it was something about her. Y'all tell me if this is weird. But I always find it intriguing when you meet a snobby ass, colorless person who devotes their entire lives to animals. And I think it's nice, but on the flip side, something deep inside of me told me that she don't give a fuck about Black people. I feel like it's always those types of people who it's white savior syndrome. That's what I'm saying. She very much had a white savior syndrome about her, to where she prided herself in saving dogs, so much so that you thought she worked for a damn animal shelter, but she's a social media manager for a construction company. Either way it goes, I have to say, Alyssa ain't really looking like nothing. I ain't even gonna break down her looks, but she matches Chris. Her teeth are small. They're white, but they're small. You do not have a Colgate smile the way you're acting like this man has to have a Colgate smile. It's more disappointing to me that you're gaslighting him and conjuring up a state of confusion for this man, trying to figure out what it is that he doesn't have that you need. You came on this show thinking that you was going to get a country music superstar looking man. They gave you a regular dude that's definitely your type, your speed, and you want to be a brat about it. I'm like, are you serious? Then we saw your sister. Your sister looked better than you. And I think you're just simply out here trying to bag a man who you think your friends are bagging. You want somebody to make you feel more grandiose, someone who makes you feel like you meet that stature of a middle-class white woman who has to never worry. And I think that's what she thought she was signing up for. And now you're trying to confuse this man and make him think that based off of some of the character traits that his friends said that he had that you're uncomfortable. You're uncomfortable because you're repulsed, because you think that you're better than this man. I still have not been able to find one chin on her face. It's just been an entire neck. While you're talking about Chris, I feel like, yes, I don't know what's going on. It's just neck. There's no contour, no cutting or nothing. And there's things about her that could be fixed. So I'm upset that you're acting like you're disgusted. That entire thing is disgusting. She didn't stay the night with him. She told him he could do whatever he wanted to do in Puerto Rico. She wasn't going to be involved. She didn't want to talk to him, acted like she was disgusted. And still he's sitting here sweet as can be, saying that as long as she pulls 1%, he going to be there. Send this one back to the streets. Send her back to the streets. It's a reason why you couldn't bag a man like you wanted before you got here. And now you're trying to beat this man down for who he is not. It's ridiculous to me. Chris, I saw him on the after show and he looked good. His hair was combed to the side. Yes, his teeth could use a little bit of work, but like I said, y'all are on the same page. Y'all the same speed. So this attitude is disgusting, and I feel like it's going to be a long ass season. I was lightweight hoping she would call it quits tonight.
That's what I wanted. And I was actually upset and offended that she was allowed to basically put him through this torture by making him think that there was a shot that they were going to work it out from a friendship. And when we saw them, she didn't want to do anything with him. She didn't want to go shopping. She didn't want to go sit and eat. When they were even sitting next to each other, she was closer to Jasmina's man than she was to her own. And I was just so, you noticed that?
She was sitting up under him on the couch. And I was
like, she was so close to Michael. And I was just like, Chris is giving you all this, all this big dick energy right here. And you scooting all the way over to be closer to somebody else's man that's not even looking at you. I was so annoyed. And I really did feel like it was torture to watch their interactions throughout the episode, because he didn't deserve that. And then when he held you accountable at the end of the episode, you flipped it on him like, I'm uncomfortable and I don't know what you want me to do. It's like, stop being a cunt and leave the show. Don't sit up here and take advantage of the vacation and the honeymoon and the selfies. Meanwhile, you're treating this man like garbage and treating everybody around him better than him, as if you weren't set up with him, like he did something to you. He didn't do anything to you. You reckless as fuck. I want you and your lack thereof chin and your double neck to get the fuck up off my TV screen.
I was mad that she was even allowed to go on the honeymoon. I feel like the show should be like this. If after the wedding, You saying we not compatible, we should not be together. Okay, well then it's over. You should not be allowed to take the vacation, because what's the point of going on a honeymoon when you don't want to interact with the guy? And I feel like her even saying, well, we have so many differences. I'm like, bitch, y'all only had the wedding reception. Like you haven't even fell asleep and had a conversation. You're basing all of this on conversation of other people who, I don't know why his friends were being assholes. I don't know why they said that stuff to her, but I feel like for her to take that as factual was horrible. And then to have that man sitting around and he not knowing what's going on, and then she come out with, it's been a long day. And I'm like, and he's like, I don't know what the fuck I said. I don't know what I did. And then even her not wanting to have conversation on camera, her wanting to have private. I'm like, bitch, y'all have not had enough time for you to say y'all have differences. Y'all have not talked long enough for you to say that y'all lifestyles and how y'all would live would be different. And I felt like I wish he would have said, you know what? That's how you feel? Okay, well, I'm done. If you feel that way, because I ain't said nothing. I ain't did nothing. And if that's how you feel, and you can't tell me what I said to make you feel that way, well, then I'm done. But I'm like, he trying to still pace it out because he know, it may take some time, and that's cool. But I'm like, she came off as a grade A bitch. She came off like, from the moment I saw you, I didn't like you. And I was waiting to not have to talk to you and be around you. And I was pissed that they allowed her to go and fucking hunt. I'm like, no, put that bitch in the bottom of the barrel hotel. Let her be by herself, because she does not want to experience this with this man. So at some point, I wish the producers would step in and say, okay, you don't want him, right? You're saying y'all not compatible, right? Okay, let's give him a backup. She should have to leave. If you don't want to participate, you know what I'm saying, to at least the end of the honeymoon, to see how it's going to at least do that. You should not be allowed to vacation with the couples and drink and have a good time and what Puerto Rico. No, take your ragamuffin ass home. She made me so mad by how she really spoke like they had conflict. Had they had conflict, cool. It wasn't no fucking conflict. You just don't like how he looked and you want to leave. Well, bye, bitch. Go home.
Right.
Divorce and single.
It was disgusting to me how she gaslit and made it seem like he was truly making her uncomfortable, because I was like, this is very Karen-esque. Usually we see this being done to black men, but no, you'll do it to white men too if you feel like he's below your level. If he's ugly to you, you'll pull the same I'm threatened, I'm scared tactics on him as you would anybody else. It was a mess.
Cause he said at the like, it's like she gaslighting me. Like she's saying and doing stuff to make me react. And what I respect is he didn't react. He like, you tripping. Like he fully got, it ain't me, it's her. And then when I'm trying to say it's her, she's still saying things to gaslight me, to make me seem like I'm the wrong one. And I like how he like, I got you. I see you for you is. And he was like, I'm not going to allow you to make me look like a fool. It's you, it ain't me. And if that's how you act, okay, well, fine then. I'm fine. Staying in the room by myself. Gotta go. Peace out, bitch. But I really want, look, this gonna sound mean. I want him to dog her. I really want him to, I want him to be the best husband that he could be, but still not want her. I want her to see who he is as a good man and a good husband, and then she see you were being stupid. And I want him to say on decision day, bye, bitch, I will see you in divorce courts. I want the dogs and I want the ketchup bottles. And then other than that, leave me alone. Because it's like he hasn't done, he seemed like a nice guy, truthfully he does. I mean, he had K9 teeth, so what? A lot of people do. But I'm like, he's still, he's still kind of cute. You know what I'm saying? He still seemed like it's like, and even when she got mad that he was honest with her mom or her sister who asked like how things are going, and he like, well, she said she didn't want to be with me. You told a private conversation. Bitch, you are on TV. Nothing is private. And you can't tell your
nobody else to see that she a bitch.
Because I think she know her family gonna call her out on her bullshit. Like, bitch, bitch, how you gonna tell him on the day of the wedding, y'all don't click? You ain't even talk to that man. And that it is, I hate to, because I felt like he didn't do shit wrong. And he like, what did I do? I just want to be happy. So I think he should be a good husband, be a good person on the show, and then divorce her ass and make her look stupid. Then get the dog or the cats or whatever food. Whatever. I want him to take her animals.
The dog. Okay.
I'm trying to think about what I was gonna say about Chris and Alyssa. Yeah, she just really, disappointed me. I think the thing that stuck out the most for me was him talking to the camera, putting his head down, squeezing his eyes. It looked like he was trying not to cry. Like, imagine you've been waiting for this time to connect with somebody. You get it on the first night or whatever. Don't know this person, hoping that it's gonna be great. You set all these expectations for this process, yet here we are. And this woman don't even like you. Like, that's got to be, to haven't even tried to talk to you, used and out from a conversation with your friends to try to act like y'all got some type of disconnect, but then not fully explaining her issue to him of like what's really wrong. It's like he had to sit with that thought for a minute, like, what's going on? What did I do? And then for him to have to sleep in that room, not even sleep with her. Like, imagine that. Like, yeah, absolutely. I was high-key thinking like, go home, bro. Like, I would just be like, yo, in this process, like it was given producers forcing them to carry out this process. And I already can tell Alyssa is going to be a person that Pastor Kyle's not going to be able to communicate with. She's not willing to see anybody's thing because she's an extremely shallow person. So she going to want what she wants, because she wants somebody that looks good on her arm. It don't matter how trash they are. Like, that's just what she wants. She wants to be able to flex in front of her friends. Like, look at what I have, even though we're on the struggle bus on the inside. But I just hate it for Chris. I feel like this situation is worse than the two people we saw last season. Can't think of their name. But this situation is much worse. It's terrible. And she's being extremely honest, but not honest at the same time. Because when they talk, like y'all said, even he recognized the fact that he was being gaslit. So it's trash. I just wish they would be able to, go ahead and leave. Like, why do this honeymoon when this girl is clear she's not gonna let nobody get through to her?
Right.
It is what it is.
I don't want to hang out with him. I don't want to go shopping with him. Why does he want to go shop? I'm like, it was mad. He called him. I'm like, you are a liar. Why? How you mad when you said I think you're lying? Because I ain't did shit. So of course you lying.
I'm disgusted. She's the epitome of a Karen. I hate to see it. Y'all go ahead and do us a favor and about to get into gossip chat. I hope y'all had a chance to like the video. I don't know what part is y'all's favorite part of the show now. So if y'all watching this on live or on playback, comment below and tell us what's y'all's favorite part. Is it the TV talk? Is it the gossip? I'm just interested to know. So the first thing we're gonna talk about is Miss McGood. Miss Good if you nasty. So this picture came out, what was this? Maybe 1 week ago, and everybody was taking it and running with it and was like, okay, she back. And it made me think about the conversation that we all had as a group about why we thought that the relationship between her and her husband is ending and why he served her divorce papers. So interesting enough, right after the picture of her in the jersey came out and everybody thought, she back to the streets, she then makes a statement and she opens up about how this is the most painful thing she ever experienced in her life. So let me read a bit of it. She says, throughout life, I've always approached relationships as understanding that at some point they'll get to a place that they're going to, and then they will be over. She said, I've always had an attitude of, all right, next chapter, we'll see what's next. And being okay with that and appreciating what you give to someone and what they give to you, and sharing a moment in time and in life that you never get back, regardless of how it ends. She said she thought that would be the last time that she would be doing that and that she would be with this person forever. So she's really brokenhearted as to what happened. But I'm laughing, y'all, because in the same breath, I think she's ready to be back to the streets. I do think she's ready to be back to the streets. I gave y'all my opinion a few weeks ago when I told y'all I felt like it's probably a difference of lifestyles. Things have changed. You know, people, it's been a whole decade of them being together. And I also find it interesting that she made this statement about how heartbroken she is immediately after she was wearing the Miss Good If You Nasty jersey and people was thinking she was back to the streets. So do y'all think the timing is coincidental? What y'all think about her statement?
I think the timing is coincidental. I feel like as women, when we go through breakups, we have multiple different phases and moments that we go through. Just because she had a shirt on saying that, you know, Miss Good If You Nasty, she was just hanging out with friends like she went on a trip and she was having the time of her life. But it doesn't mean that she can't be heartbroken or whatever. Like, she was with this person for 10 years. I don't know too many people that's going to break up with somebody. Some people get distraught after a year. You know, so it's 10 years. It's going to take time, but I think she is looking forward to getting back to her, because I think in that 10 years, she tried so hard to try and fit into the image of what he may want, but also still trying to honor herself as well. So I think she was really conflicted in her spirit, you know, throughout that time. So, I mean, like, where's she at now? I'm like, do your thing, girl. I haven't seen Devon. I said, I'm glad he not. I went to his page. I said, I'm so glad you're not on Instagram right now, baby. After you showed us that picture of you crying, because you wouldn't be able to take Miss Megan. When Miss Megan had that photo, that video up in that green dress, I said, oh, baby. I said, you better work, mama. She is showing I am unbothered. This is what you wanted, sir, and this is what you will get. You thought you were doing something to me a few days before Christmas. Well, I'm going to be working your ass all year. I'm like, let's go make it.
Posting.
I'm here for it.
Posting. This is what I was saying when I felt like it wasn't a coincidence. I felt like people assume that she's not in pain because of the shirt. And so she did the interview, you know what I'm saying, to let everybody know, like, nah, I'm still going through it. It's a process. Right. You know, I'm still grieving the loss of it, but you know, you got to fake it to make it. You got to slide up under something new to get over something old. You know what I'm saying? You got to go out there and still live your life, but that don't mean she don't cry about the loss of her marriage or feel sad about it. I mean, it's not even just a marriage, it's the friendship, it's the bond you form with the person, the codependency that happens just from being married to somebody for a long period of time. It's very hard to like uncouple, okay, after being together for that long. So I just feel like, yeah, you did an interview so you could let everybody know, hey, stop thinking that I'm just out here not giving a fuck about anything. Like, I'm a person. I'm a person, okay? So chill out.
All right.
That's what I felt like it meant.
I want to add, when you were talking, Bondy, it made me think about how they actually have been separated for about 6 or 7 months. So at this point, when you think about it, she probably is at a great place of healing right now. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, she's going to be out. She's going to be hanging out. But yeah, she's still torn by the breakup or whatever. But I don't know. People shouldn't be too surprised now that I think about it. She getting back to her. It's been 6, 7 months.
She can work now. She can work. Yo, we hadn't really seen Megan in anything like talking about, at least nothing that we wanted to write home about. And as soon as I saw Harlem, I was like, yeah, her and that nigga not together no more.
Yup. As soon as I saw her as soon as I saw her with Lamaya and Eric all the time, because, you know, Lamaya and Eric, her sister and brother-in-law, they be out here smoking, enjoying life, doing everything. When I seen her with them, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, you done.
Good day, good sir.
She is out. I like that she's out. I think sometimes people get divorced and go through things, and they just kind of go into like a little cocoon and we never see them. So what I appreciate is her showing, like, I'm going to be out having fun, but I'm also going to like not be trying to like put in everybody's face that I'm divorced, but I have to move on too. So it's like, if you see me out in these streets, just know I'm trying to just move in a way to make myself feel better. And I like that she is, you know, just showing that. I think she's showing grace, because it's hard to have to, you know, be in the public eye and like smile or not look sad or not look happy. and you just try to be. So I appreciate her that, you know what I'm saying, enjoying whatever she's feeling, good, bad, or indifferent. Because some people don't even know how to handle uncoupling. So people take it so hard that they get depressed, and it be some bullshit. And it seems like she's trying her best to handle it in a positive way so that she can really heal and move forward and, have a life after. Because who wants to sit around and be all pissed off at your fucking ex-husband who on Facebook crying for no damn reason and tears and sweat and shit. So it's like, I appreciate her just, showing some grace and mercy about, I'm going to be out here in these streets still looking good. I am making good. Leave me be.
Right. And she might have already went through those stages in private.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of relationships, y'all know who think they know relationships better than anybody. Go ahead and get your clown mask ready. We're gonna talk about Kevin Samuels. This fool right here. He says that if women do not want to slide your panties to the side, if you ain't trying to bust it wide open, stop going on dates after 5 p.m.
And understand, when I mean dates, I mean nighttime dates. Ladies, if you don't want sex to be on the table, then don't go out after dark. If you go out after 5 p.m. with a man, sex should be on the menu. If you want to keep it strictly platonic, date between the hours of 12 and 3.
Nigga, what? Hold on. Let me get it straight. Let me get this straight. This man gonna say if you don't want to have to give up your cooch, you only can go out during lunch hours?
12 and
what
3.
Kind of sense?
4 is not an option.
What kind of look? This is what people need to understand. There should be no rule saying if you go out at 8 p.m. you have to give your cooch. No, bitch, that's dinner time. It's called dinner. And my thing is, I'm not gonna go on a midnight, date night. If it's midnight, there may be some cooch involved. But I feel like to say don't go out past 5 p.m. and if you do, that means you should be fully, okay with the man probably wanting sex from you. Fuck that man. I feel like that is the most immature shit I've ever heard. It's like, I don't understand. Fuck Kevin Samuels. That is crazy. 12 to 3. Bitch, I can't even get a good iced tea at that time. I can't get no good meatloaf, you know what I'm saying, and no collard greens and a good little, lemon drop. I gotta get some fucking chicken fritters and fucking fries because that's lunchtime. And that man that made me mad.
He said roll through the Sonic happy hour. Okay?
12.
You can't even get an evening happy hour.
It sounds like an excuse to assault women.
Yes.
I was definitely thinking that, like, he's giving an alarm to the men.
Take it after back.
Y'all
they out after 5, it's yours.
Yep.
Y'all saying that makes me want to call out a response video by Tony Gaskins. I don't have the clip, but he said instead of teaching women not to go out after 5, why don't you teach your sons that a woman, she has to give consent of whenever she wants to have sex. So I think there's a lot of backwards teaching out here. Kevin Samuels is disgusting. And what he said definitely fits the narrative of, well, you shouldn't have been wearing this or you shouldn't have been wearing that. Next, you're going to say women can't wear skirts on dates. Women can't wear red lipsticks or have red nails if they don't want to get assaulted. It was, ugh.
I'm tired of y'all.
Horrible. It's horrible that he feels the need to feel like his philosophy is like factual and people be like, I don't follow Kevin Samuels. I really think he posts. But I feel like that's a fucked up scenario to put on a woman to say, you can't go out past a certain time because if you do, then the man is allowed to want sex from you. And I feel like the fact that he said that and like, ain't nobody outraged. He was like, where's the outrage for that shit? Like, y'all would be outraged while Cardi, a dude saying chicks, females going out past 5 can, what would require the man to have sex is crazy.
I said they're not going to be happy until women start shooting them in the peen. And I feel like that should be an appropriate response. I've had it up to here because it is very much we're trying to get away from grape culture, and I feel like y'all are trying to bring us back into it with these stupid and demeaning rules that you put on women because men can physically overpower us. But then when it comes to making men responsible for any of their own actions, you still want to blame women. So are you niggas strong or not? Are you an alpha or not? Which is still ridiculous. I want y'all to do some research on where that comes from. Are you in captivity, nigga? Let me know. But either way, I'm tired of Kevin Samuels and his little bitty bitch shoulders, okay, and his big old man head running his mouth as if his language isn't harmful, as if he isn't intelligent enough to know it. It's giving Fox News. It's given, we know what we're saying is foolishness, but we also know that you crazy niggas eat this shit up. So as long as y'all are paying to hear it, I'm going to keep spewing it, even though it's violent, even though it's harmful.
Tragic.
I judge everybody I know. I looked at his post today trying to grab the screenshot, and I saw people I knew who were men who were liking his post, and I was like, I said, I was getting ready to send it to my friend, like, girl, remember you used to talk to this fool? Ugh.
That's crazy. I hate that he still has an audience and he's spewing the stuff that he's spewing. But shout out to Tony Gaskins, because he was like the only man that has come, I feel, to the defense of women when it comes to Samuel and the BS that he be, or Kevin, whatever his name is, and the BS he be spewing. I don't really have a whole lot to say about the situation. We know he spews a lot of ignorance. My thing was that you really sending an alarm to your guys that they can do whatever they want in the evening times. It's sad.
It is. What else is sad is Bravo and his Jenny Wynn bullshit. So we talked about this last week on the last episode. Jenny Wynn has had a series of Facebook posts from 2020 where she is giving her opinion on Black people, Black Lives Matter, Back the Blue, everything else. It was a video on her page where she posted something about a Black kid and was like, oh, and you wonder where they learned this from. She says that if you just comply, then the police won't be a threat to you. And she had a lot of racist things on her Facebook page from 2020. Okay. And let's be real, y'all. After the pandemic, all the years start blending together. So that shit was yesterday. Okay. We keep talking about 2020 and saying the year 2020 as if we talking about a decade ago, as if we pulled up somebody's tweets from when they was in high school. You 40 plus, you know damn well what you were doing. Your friend group is allied with the same beliefs that you have, and that was just on display. But what I want to call out, some bullshit on is Bravo continued to film this situation as it all played out. It wasn't until everybody got on social media, lighting her ass up, and people decided to stop watching the show that they decided to handle it differently. I guess they thought that initially it would be enough for her public perception to be tainted. But then once people said, oh, we're going to start making your money look funny, then all of a sudden, we stand by you. We're kicking her off the show immediately. So as soon as she got kicked off the show, she decided to go live on Instagram with her gay Black friend. And the reason why I'm saying gay Black friend is because this is the epitome of I love Black people. She had very much far right, far hatred, far Republican thoughts. So you went and found the marginalized of the marginalized. You wanted to find somebody to align with liberals and people who you thought were minorities to make it seem like you didn't know any better. You know very well. You believe this, your friends believe this, and even this Black man that you got in front of us, he has the same beliefs as you in some way, shape, or form, in my opinion. So during this interview, Jenny says that she had a social media team, very similar to what Jen Shaw told us when she was posting homophobic or gay tweets about Brooks. She had a social media team that was running her social in 2020. To me, what was crazy about this was we didn't know who the fuck Jenny Wynn was in 2020. Yes, you own medical clinics, but why would you have somebody running social media for you personally? I can see if you had a branded social media for your medical business, but why for you? She says because she's a mother and she didn't have time for social media. Girl, bye. Even then, I don't think you hire people to come on your social media and post political views, if that's what we want to call them. When I say political, that's just bullshit cloaked in race, trying to cover up racism. So I'm just like, Jenny, then she's gonna say, I don't remember what I posted. You don't remember what you posted. It doesn't matter because it's aligned with your beliefs. You never deleted it. Better yet, I think we need to talk about Bravo because her friend brought up a good point in the, I was going to call it an interview in the statement. Her friend says, you don't need to be on the show. They don't just randomly select you to be a housewife. They dug through your social media and they still chose you. So her friend thinks that he's proven a point. But my thing is, you were okay going along with the network when you thought that they were filming you and cutting you a check. But yes, the network knew that you had racist posts and still decided to cast you. So I think Bravo needs to be held accountable as well. Because my question is, why now? And Jenny, why act like 2020 was so long ago and that you're still learning and evolving? You couldn't remember what you posted on social media, but then you named multiple objects that you threw at Dewey to break his ribs. You remember that? You remember throwing a bag of chips, a remote, and everything else, but you don't remember exactly what you posted. It doesn't even matter exactly what you posted. That's a reflection of how you really feel about Black people. So let's just start there. What are y'all thoughts on Jenny in this half-ass dumb statement, this plot, the theatrics of her bringing this Black friend on here to cape for her or soldier up?
It was the weirdest. It was the anybody who does a live and they don't leave it up, you full of shit. I feel like if you making a statement and you do a live to say whatever your feelings are or whatever it is, when you don't save that your stuff and let it be up there, you know you was on bullshit. And when I seen it, because I don't watch the show, but of course I knew of what was going on. And when I seen like the screenshots of her post and she was saying how, was whoever was running her page, I was like, whoever you had run your page who put that much of that content on your stuff, they knew that's what you believed. So to me, it did not matter that you didn't post it. They knew you well enough to know that you were okay with all of that being on there and you didn't care. So that was thing one. Thing two, having a gay black man sit beside you does not make me feel like, well, I have a Black friend. The fact that he said, I don't live in Utah, I don't be around, but I came here. You don't have no Black friends in your city. You don't have no Black people around you who can come in this situation. To bring a random Black man from somewhere else means you don't have no Black friends around you to come to your aid right now. So you had to get a special Black man who to me is on bullshit too. So that was stupid. And the whole thing of him, I also didn't get how the posts were there, how Bravo didn't see it. And once Bravo saw it and it came out, what took y'all so long to say, you know what, get her the fuck up out of here? Because for other shows like Vanderpump Rouge, y'all got rid of some people over there who did different things. So it was weird to me how on the Bravo housewife shows, they like to wait to see how it's going to play out. Let's see how it's going to happen. But on some of the lesser shows, if someone do something, we're going to snatch them down. I feel like what Jenny said and what she posted was worse than what I've seen the Vanderpump Rules people who did stuff, because she was literally doing repetitive posts that were racist and disgusting. So I'm happy Bravo fired her finally, but I feel like Bravo needs to explain how that stuff was already there and y'all ain't see it. Because if it was 2020, that was yesterday.
Yeah, it was yesterday. I still be thinking we in 2021. Time has just it's been blurred the past 2 years for sure. So let me read this super chat. Thank you, Deshaun, for the super chat. They say it isn't our job to teach the others how to treat us anymore. MLK has done that already. If she really wants to learn, pick up a damn book or a video. Right. Don't spend my precious black time making it seem like I got to educate you on how to respect me.
Let me tell you something. Bravo is making me think that they knew about the post and somebody was like, but we should still hire her because if it comes out that she has these posts on her page, it'll be really great for the show. And that way we can bring her on. If she doesn't work out, we can just get her off the show with that. Or if not, we can maybe try to get them down before anybody pays attention and then we can keep her. Because there's no way that y'all didn't see that shit. Y'all go 2 years back at least of vetting people before y'all bring them on any show. But because how messy I believe Bravo is, how I do not feel like they value Black people the way they should, especially considering the fact that we are the reason why y'all are where y'all are right now is because Black people started watching Real Housewives of Atlanta. It wasn't because of any of your lame ass white shows about racist white women. This is nothing new, but you're not going to play in our faces. You're not going to use Mary Cosby. Okay, she might be, a problematic Black woman, but she is still a Black woman. You are not going to use her to pull all of these people to this fucking show and then play with us and trigger us in this way and then basically tell us that we just gonna have to deal with however y'all want to handle it. Stop playing with us, Bravo. Because I was about to be like, do I really need to review Candy show? Like, I love Candy, but do I really need to do that? Because I kind of don't care a little bit. It took y'all so long to come out with the shit. I'm over the shit after Portia. Y'all that made me mad. Like I could figure something else out to review. Like that's how I was feeling. If they were going to keep her, I was going to be like, maybe me and Bravo need to break up because they doing too much to tell me that they don't give a fuck about how I feel as a Black person, even though they would not be the network that they are if it were not for Black people. So I'm glad they made the correct decision, but I still feel like they let that shit play out because of the show. They let that shit play out because, especially thinking about the fact that they allowed for all of this shit after the fact to take place. So they have been filming up until this point. The women probably got a chance to confront Jenny or something like that. And then she just kind of faded off like they've done people in the past. So I feel like essentially I do want to see that. But I see y'all. I see y'all for y'all works. And I think y'all thought it would be entertaining. Even though y'all knew it would trigger us, y'all knew it would be entertaining. So I think y'all allowed it to just happen.
I think Jenny's Instagram live was bogus, unnecessary. I hated that she brought this Black man up there that said that he soldiered up. You didn't have to soldier up. You chose to come. So it's not like you needed to soldier up. I felt like her husband should have been present. That's the person that knows you the most and that's been with you the longest. Why did you go and find your token Black person, your only token Black person to present to us? And it didn't even help you. What else did I want to say about Jenny? I feel like she started filming when? Maybe early 2021 or something like that. So imagine when she started filming in comparison to when those things dropped in 2020. I was seeing stuff in August, September. Like, come on now. Like, this was right around the corner. So I feel like Bravo does not vet on Facebook at all. I feel like they hop in people DMs or whatever, get referrals or whatever, and they may vet the Instagram and that's it. I don't think they go that deep, but I think now moving forward, they might, seeing how it impacted their coins. And for the friend to say, you don't need this show. You don't need this show. Well, why would she say at the end of the doggone live that, oh, you're going to see me again? No, we don't want to see you again, but y'all already conflicted on y'all views right here. And I did not like him saying there was a time where he had to educate her on BLM. So between the time that you educated her on BLM and the time she made the post, why did she continue to post what you supposedly educated her on? So both of y'all up here lying and doing jumping jacks in front of the people. And it was a whole mess. It was a mess. And then she did a terrible job explaining how she broke her husband's rib. It was a terrible interview. She could have kept it. I said, if you wanted us to drag you more, then just say that. Okay? Because that's what it gave.
Stories.
It
definitely gave, please drag me because I'm about to get up here and lie to your face in 2 seconds. 1 minute I'm going to tell you that it's disgusting. It's all disgusting, and I take responsibility, but I do have freedom of speech to
That is
say
what she
these
did.
ignorant things. I sure do. This is America, and I have a right to be a avid rabid racist who
Yep.
identifies as a Republican.
Yep.
Terrible.
That's exactly what she did. And she was like, no, I'm not blaming the social media team. But I
She didn't have
trusted
one.
them.
Hey,
Like, no,
Mia.
she didn't
Oh,
have
you ain't
one.
had no
You
fucking
were
social media
the
team. You
social
cooking your
media
own
team.
food. You ain't got no social media team, bitch. You cooking your own food at home. Dewey ain't about to give you no money to pay for nobody to run your Instagram, girl.
But it's the black man that was sitting up there lying. It's like, first of all, you don't even have that much of an audience for you to have somebody to
No.
be managing your Facebook.
No,
And
no.
even if you did, why is it that you did not review what they were putting on your page, which represents you?
What about
Because
the
she was in
furniture though?
agreement.
Because the
Exactly.
furniture was there. Why do you have racist furniture? Like, do you know how out of the way you have to go? And I feel like that's a teller when white people come to your house, when they see that in your house, they know the type of Asians you are. Oh, you're
Mhm.
those types of
You wanna
Asians. So we
flex.
can, yeah, that's what
Yeah.
that's what that's about. That's to let other racist people adjacent and clear know that we're involved in that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
We have guns, we're bang bang, we don't like the blacks. Like,
Yep.
no, you were trying to fit in with racist white people. That's why you've assumed this aesthetic as well, which is why your family and your niece was on TikTok,
Airing you out.
airing you the fuck out.
Another thing that I found interesting, and a reason why I feel like we should light Bravo up, is in the interview, her black friend says, they don't just pick anyone off the street and say, "Do you want to be a housewife?" It's hard vetting. They seek you out. So right after that, I was on Instagram, and I wish I screenshotted it. It was a picture of somebody DMing like a Bravo affiliated page, and they asked if they were casting for Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. The Bravo person responded and said, "Yes, we are looking for diverse housewives. Please have them send their information to this email." And I feel like it was in response to the black boy saying they don't just cast anybody. That was Bravo's way of trying to say, but we do. Here, send in your resume to be a housewife. So all of it's very calculated. It's a huge machine. It's a huge machine.
That post was actually already out prior to the interview, but
Okay.
it just confirms for me that they don't be vetting like that. They take on different referrals and all of that. So I
I'm
mean,
glad you saw it, because I was like, I was trying to go back and find it. And I was like, I know I didn't make that up in my mind.
no, it was out there. Yeah.
So, speaking of machines, y'all, the big machine. It's time to talk about this, because I know y'all want to talk about it. I know y'all want to talk about Tasha K and Cardi B. So this Monday, verdict finally came in that Tasha K was held liable for defamation and making up, lies about Cardi B. The videos are still up. Initially, the charges were 1.25 million. Then they racked up to about 3, and now I'm even hearing 4 million. The other interesting thing was that we all know recently Tasha K hit 1 million subscribers, and it seemed as though a few thousand, 2,000, unsubscribed to knock her back down to 998K. That may have changed as of this very moment. But there's two aspects to this that I want to speak on. One, I want to speak on Tasha K's statement, where she says things such as this is a conspiracy, this was an attempt to drain her money, and she still feels as though she didn't do anything wrong. So I want to talk about that statement because it seemed like there was a lack of accountability to me. We do know that her team is going to try to appeal, which is obviously why she's not going to admit any blame to making up lies. But I want to hear y'all's thought on that part. And then the second thing I want to talk about is, what do y'all think about the few thousand people that decided to unfollow her today, when this is obviously something that's been going on for, it feels like a couple years now at this point. So y'all's thoughts? Okay, Mike.
Like, I know she's down to she down to 999. No, 996. She's lost about 400, 4,000 people. But I feel like her response was bullshit. I feel like her statement she was reading from her lawyers was a complete detour from the case. It was confusing because I was like, nothing you really spoke on in that statement had anything to do with the reason you were even being sued. Bringing up a machine, bringing up payola, bringing up kids not being safe in LA and Chicago, and, had nothing to do with the fact that at the end of the day, you made over 20 videos, damn near 30 videos, about one person possibly, saying that they had STDs, prostitution, and all these things. And in your statement about this case, you never mentioned any of that. It was you completely changed the narrative and said it was a conspiracy against yourself. And I was like, that's bullshit, because the machine never asked you to speak on Cardi, for one. The machine could not have came after you unless you put out the consistent content that Cardi kept asking you to cease and desist to do. So for me, while I didn't expect her to come out and say, I'm guilty, I did it, bad me, pal. But to put out a statement that was a complete 360 and had nothing to do with the reason you were even in court was bullshit to me. And to make it seem as if you are the victim and that only payola and sympathy is the reason you lost. No, you lost because you left up the evidence showing you maliciously and consistently and intentionally putting out video after video about her is the reason you lost. And I would have respected if she would have said, you know what, back then I did something. I went, maybe went too far, and this is my predicament. Okay. Cause she do things differently now. So it's fucked up to me to see how your channel has changed from that. And you still sat up in our faces and read a whole statement about bullshit. But she gonna have her subscribers and her followers who support her, which is fine. But gotta call it spade a spade. The statement was bullshit. It was gaslighting at its best, and still making it seem as if like Cardi was the one out here doing wrong, and Cardi is the one who, is tainting children. I'm like, man, look, we had Lil Kim, Fox Brown, Jackie. We've had plenty of artists before Cardi B who was explicitly explicit to people, to children, to young people. So don't make it seem like all of a sudden you want to be this holier than thou blogger trying to save the world, and now they're coming after you. And I was like, that's bullshit. It's stupid. And it's hard for us to, not even want to speak on it because you don't want to, rag on somebody. But I'm like, no, it was on bullshit.
It was just giving a sense of deflection. I have to agree.
And lies.
So I said what I had to say in my video earlier. I'm going to reiterate that it was manipulation at its finest. Tasha had on a white turtleneck. She had a Porsche slick back. She took a deep breath. She had a statement ready for y'all. She had a lot of big words, a lot of big buzzwords. Everybody was enjoying hearing a lot of these words. That's very triggering for y'all. The machine, violence, Black communities, okay, degenerates, prostitution, drug use. She was doing a lot. And all I kept thinking of, so are we separating alcoholism from the drug use? Because I'm sorry, but I never knew a wino to be anything other than a degenerate, sleep on a concrete outside the corner store. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly what box she was standing on when she was doing all of that grandstanding in that statement that she put out, you know, 2-parent household and da 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 da. But you didn't have any of that consideration for Cardi when Cardi kept asking you to settle and take the shit down and all of that. Remember, you was like, oh, remember we both mothers. And you didn't give a fuck that y'all was both mothers. And now you want us to give a fuck that you, girl. Like I said, you playing in everybody's face because on here, yeah, you know, my dick big on here. But in real life, when all of this shit go down and it's just you and your nigga in the bed at night talking about how y'all gonna figure out how to pay $3.8 million and still maintain, you know, everything y'all got going on, you can act like that's not something stressful, but to a nigga with $10 million in the bank, paying somebody 3.8 should be stressful.
Absolutely.
So at the end of the day, like I said, when I look at the situation, bitch, it give me bubble guts. So I don't know why, you know, you persisted with all of this and why you are, you know, continuing to persist with this energy when it's, you know, it's low vibrational. And we should aspire to be better as women. And when I say that, we should aspire not to look at other women that they are so beneath us that we can't admit when we fucked up because we got carried away. Because I didn't even know it was 30 videos. God damn, bitch.
I didn't know it was 30. I was thinking it was 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Thank you for the super chat, Shin. She says, or they say, if she can't tell the truth about her own situation, why would anyone want to hear her talk about other stories? She gave Martell energy. Yeah, absolutely.
And also because she interviews and she can allow for people to make a fool of themselves. Because to me, it seems like she did that with Akbar V. I only saw a little bit, but when I heard Akbar V talking about the Bible and how, you know, she a prophet or some shit like that, I said, bitch, I'm gonna talk to you later. I hung the phone up, girl. I said, I can't hear this.
So Tasha said that she started off with saying that the conspiracy thing, right? That was a whole lot, okay? Because I you're right, Jaylee. Like, girl, no machine ever told you to bother this woman to begin with. It was a choice that was chose to be made by you. But when she said that the case or whatever was given sympathy and payola, I was thinking sympathy and payola is accurate because what you're giving me in this video is just that. You're seeking our sympathy and trying to play on words, using buzzwords for the barbs and trying to trigger the quote unquote Black community to go along with whatever narrative or whatever you're trying to put out there for the people. And that's a problem. For us to blatantly follow this story, and I've been talking about this story since last year. So to be following this story, getting all this different information from people that were inside the courtroom, and then you come to us with a statement trying to play us on what really happened. I didn't like that at all. Then you're trying to bring in the narrative of being a mom. I would have expected a bit more compassion. So it definitely was giving sympathy and payola as I watched the video, because you do have to pay about $3.8 million. I'm just being real honest.
You do have to pay. I have a question though. I was wondering if that's why she's not removing the video. So is she still? Are those videos still?
She
monetized?
removed them from YouTube, and from what I understand, put them on her website.
Got it. Okay.
Which is what she should have been
doing. But she'll still make money off of it. So that is the sympathy and payola like Jami was referring to.
Correct.
Sympathy from us.
But we'll see what's going to we'll see what's going to happen, you know, with the injunction. I don't know if the injunction, now that she's taking down the the videos, if it's just going to be about that, or if they're going to try and turn around and, you know, snatch her channel. If they snatch her channel, I mean, she has other alternatives. She has Patreon. I think people are supporting her there. She also has her website, which is, I think somebody mentioned that they feel like the website could have been created because she kind of already knew. As she said, she wasn't surprised by the verdict. So she probably was like, let me go ahead and get my stuff together in case they try and snatch the sites. I know a lot of us were saying like, yo, she should keep her channel or whatever because that's how she's going to pay Cardi. But then you find out about the website and the Patreon. So it's like, I think.
And I would hope that's not the only thing. I will hope if the amount of money we make on YouTube, it may not be all that, but bitch, you need to have a portfolio. Like there's to me, the money that I'm assuming Tasha has made on YouTube over the past few years, there is no way that you shouldn't have a nice portfolio, that you shouldn't have a hefty savings. Like there's no reason why you shouldn't have bought an apartment building right now to be giving you rent somewhere so that you don't have to do YouTube. Like to me,
That's
you
the
know what I'm
first
saying?
thing I would do if I made a big bag on YouTube.
It's to get something outside of it.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Right.
That way you're never really dependent upon it like that.
But
and
then
I know
that's
smart.
the thing though, Bondy, because it's like if they're saying that she hasn't paid her taxes in 3 years, it's like, yeah, that's great that you did get those assets outside of YouTube, but I wonder if the IRS seizes those things.
See, I'm nervous about that because I don't ever play with them people like that. You know, people was out here doing YouTube, not saying nothing about what they was making, and I was like, don't play with them people like that. Then people gonna come get their money.
Well, this is the thing about taxes. You have up to 3 years to file. So it could be if she was starting to make more money the past 3 years, if she just been waiting to file for those 3 years, she's okay. However, if she's filing but not disclaiming all the money she's making, now that's gonna be the fucked up part. But you can take up to 3 years. It's stupid to do that, but you have up to 3 years. But I do feel like she should be moving differently because the amount she has sponsors. Like she's not really even dependent upon ads how we are sometimes.
She lost one today.
She lost
she lost Scentbird. As she was losing followers, she lost the sponsor.
But you know what I think? I feel like I think the reason she probably lost people today was based on her statement. Because
I think that's what it is, because people were still supporting her, but
they were expecting an apology or some type of acknowledgement. Yeah, and they didn't get that. They got craziness.
See, and that's what I want to make sure is clear. Like, I know Tasha K probably ain't too pressed going from 1 million to 996. That's not the point. But what I would be pressed over, what I would be chest tight over, is having to pay somebody almost $4 million over it. That is. And that part to me is the part that I don't get it. And you've had opportunities to end it. No. Your pride is just so big. That's the thing to where I'm like,
I wonder what that's about. Like, I wonder what the upbringing was like. Because I don't know about a lot about Tasha's like upbringing. I've never really heard her talk about it like that. I just know she worked at that restaurant. Armand Wiggins put a business out there about working at a restaurant, but I feel like it was something she said anyway. But either way, like I don't know much about her.
Yeah, she said it like, in that thing when she got her statement. She said she used to work at 52 Seasons or something as a server.
Yeah, server. But I just kind of feel like there has to be something there for why you want to hold on to such a negative situation. You know what I'm saying? Why would you not want to move on from this in a real way? You know what I mean? Like, why would you not want to put this to bed? Like, why would you want to exert energy away from your family to deal with something that could have just been as simple as, all right, unlisted.
Right.
Especially if you already made your first month's check off of it, which is the bulk that you make on these videos, y'all, which is why she had to make so many thereafter, because you only gonna make so much money off them videos when you first make them. Like, at least as far as I know, and I have videos, maybe they don't have millions of views like her, but they have hundreds of thousands. And at the end of the day,
hot topics. When you talk about hot topics and stuff like that, the shelf life is not.
It's a week max. It's like a week max. And that's just, so all your subscribers can like watch it. But it's weird because it's like the video she did wasn't even like recent. Like, this is like 2019 shit. So it's like you could have been dead. Like this, it didn't even need to go this far.
You already made your money. Right.
Right. And she just kept going. And that's the weird part.
But by her continuing it, the shelf life of those videos actually lasted longer because people want to go back and
watch
see what it's. Yes, people want to go back.
But that's why she lost in court, because she had the proof. Because I said before on my video, I said it's one thing if me and Bondy have a conversation and I say some rude shit, and Bondy didn't say, well, she said this, ain't no proof I said it. Tasha left the proof of what she was saying. So it's like you lost because you left the evidence of what you did to her. So it was weird for me when she like, there was no
Wasn't she on audio saying she knew she was lying?
That's what I thought.
think she did say that she knew that Cardi, she didn't have, it wasn't a fact that she knew Cardi had the disease.
Which we knew it couldn't be. You couldn't legally know that.
Videos about it. That's the crazy part. How you kept. I remember because I was like, damn, she going in on that lady. Like, because it was, to me, I was like, you doing a lot. So if I remember what happened, for you to leave the videos up and then be acting like, well, they, for pay. No, bitch. Not bitch, but no, they seen the videos. So no one painted you out to be this mean. You showed them yourself talking reckless.
And another thing, y'all know they've been talking about the R. Kelly situation.
That's stuff that she paid to get that information.
She said that on camera too. And I remember her saying it and being like, why the fuck are you always saying shit on camera?
That's stupid.
I don't get it.
Speaking of, once we start talking about shelf life and stuff like that, it kind of made me wonder if she continued to pursue this in the name of hitting that 1 million mark. Because it was more buzz around her then. Maybe so much so to where she thought that if I continue to fight this, my name will get larger and I could possibly have the case dismissed. So she thought that it might have ended up in a win-win situation for her at the end of it. She could have thought that this was so bad that it would have ended up being good business for her in the end, because her name would have been out. You know how they say no press is bad press? Maybe that's the way she was looking at it, and she continued to spearhead it.
Honestly,
but it also show her counsel.
That's why she don't regret it. That's why she don't regret it. Because she gained so much from the situation that even if she has to pay that lady money, she's already gotten her subscribers, her notoriety, and her reputation for giving stories to bigger platforms. So at the end of the day, like she was saying, you know what I mean? Like, she set herself up with that story, whether it was true or not. And that's the sad thing. Like Charlamagne said, why would people care about the truth when lies are more entertaining?
So, she gonna learn eventually. But it's I won't say that, but I feel like she said, like, everybody, has to go through this. Not me. Like, I would never, we don't even report shit how she reports shit. So I'm like, we would never even have to worry about being sued like that, because we not like, well, so-and-so got an STD because so-and-so. It's like, no. It's like the Jasmine brand said, A, B, C, D, F, and G, this is my opinion. The difference is she was like making it be factual, and we don't do that. So while I think this case is big enough to make some YouTubers move differently, but those are for people who already was being, just a little bit shady and shit, and saying reckless shit and not really caring about it. Where I ain't doing that. Like, I'm like, I respect my channel, but I think she was at a point to where she was just like, you know what? I'm going to keep being a shock jock. I'm going to keep saying whatever, because it's getting me views, getting me clicks, and that's what I'm caring about, right? Because this is back in 2019. But that's why I felt like if she can just say, hey, that's how I operated then. I'm operating different. Because, like, the fact that she was sitting down with, Coleslaw, she didn't sit down with Akbar, you give more respect to a side chick and a bitch who don't even rap that well than you gave to Cardi. And Cardi ain't do shit to you. So to me, I'm looking like we already see that you conduct your interviews and your conversations differently when you're speaking about women who do fuck shit. Because Coleslaw was on some fuck shit. Akbar V be on some fuck shit. But you ain't make not nan video about them, how you did it about Cardi then. So you do things different. So it's like to not acknowledge that you were doing things in a different way then. Acknowledging how you used to do things doesn't mean you're saying you're at fault. You're just admitting, well, this is what happened. I was talking like that then, but I'm different now. But no, you want to come up here and flip shit and bring up goddamn payola and fucking.
I hate to see it. Good luck in my Jami ThatsMe voice on the whole situation. Y'all have any other comments?
Nah, baby. Nah.
All right. Well, we done said it all. I hope y'all enjoyed this show. Hope y'all were here for the pre-show to see us talk to Cree. But of course, y'all go ahead, give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at OohLadiesFirst. Follow Bondy at Bondy Blue, Jay Lee at Jay Lee's Corner, Jami ThatsMe, and of course, Necey Dixon, me right here. It's another Thursday. Glad to be here with y'all for another great show. Glad that you're back, Jay Lee. And we got more good things to come. So with that being said, y'all, I think we can go ahead and call it a night. Good night.